T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Happy 2023. What is good, everybody? You're now tapped into the coolest reptile podcast in the world. I'm your boy, MJ. Welcome to the very first Trap Talk podcast episode of 2023, man. What is good? I hope everyone had a safe holiday, first and foremost. I hope everyone had a great New Year's. I kept it super low-key. Didn't do much because, man, I got a lot of crazy stuff happening in my life. So, listen, I ain't got time to be hungover and just be hating life, and I don't care how awesome your life could be. I mean, the way I party, when I party, I'm miserable for like 2-3 days straight. That's a damn fact. So, listen, I just be happy I didn't go out last night. I'm ready to rock and roll, though, man. Let's just say, first and foremost, before we get into things tonight, this is your first time tapping in. Welcome to the Trap Talk podcast. Tonight's segment is called the Holy Lizard segment. We talk about geckos, monitors, but really this Sunday segment all dedicated to the lizard. So if you're into the pet side of keeping monitors, lizards, geckos, or just the breeding side or the admiring side, this is an amazing segment to be a part of. We have a highly recommended, when I say highly, like the person who recommended this dude comes highly looked up to in my world. This is my boy GS Reptiles. But I met our guest tonight through somebody very important to me, Gary Shavino. So this podcast to start off 2023 is going to be something else, okay? So hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. That way you're on top of every single podcast I drop here on this channel, and then drop a comment. Let me know if you like what I'm doing. Let me know if you don't like what I'm doing. Either way, drop a comment. What's up with the early birds? I see you guys. What's up? Salute. But yeah, before we get further, I want to say that one of my brand new 2023 sponsors, I'm so happy to talk about. It's my boy Doug, Ridiculous Rhacs. Shout out to my boy Doug, who's sponsoring tonight's episode with Johnny Rhacs. Listen, guys, I've had the privilege of having my boy Doug on the show late last year. And this guy's leechy game, his gecko game, his game all around in the reptile world is something you don't want to miss. Okay, first and foremost, get your hands on some of his productions. Okay, this guy's definitely top notch, and I'm very proud to call him one of my sponsors for this year's podcast run. Thank you so much, Doug, from Ridiculous Rhacs. Please go give him a follow on Instagram and make sure you go hit him up. Let him know the trap sent you. And thank you, man. I appreciate it. But tonight's going to be a great episode. If you're out there also looking for exclusive content, if you want to get more than what you've been seeing here lately, okay, if you really want to get the most out of your 2023, I highly recommend that you go down to the very first link and join the Trap Talk Patreon family. That's right. Come join the Trap Talk Patreon family. As soon as you join the Patreon family, you get a link to the Discord. That Discord will tap you in with over 150 trappers in the building. Definitely the coolest reptile family in the world, and I love you guys for your support. But seriously, man, it's awesome what we have going on. Pomona, what is good? I got so many of my trappers rolling to Pomona, vending and just showing up to hang out. It's going to be an amazing time. But either way, guys, please go consider becoming a part of the Trap Talk family and join this Discord, man. And get on that new Breed on the Block series. That's what I'm really talking about. Shit. Thank you to my Patreon members. I love you guys, and be ready because I am coming out with some awesome new exclusive content strictly for the Patreon members. Lately, it's been all about the Soundcheck Chronicles, which, yeah, you don't want to miss that. That shit's juicy. I just posted a Soundcheck Chronicles where, man, they really let off some steam. So go check it out. Join the Patreon family, and yeah, I can't wait to hang out with you guys. My Patreon members, we're going up this year. I'm telling you that much. I tell you that much. Also, if you're looking to see what I have going on other than podcast stuff, if you want to see what animals I work with and and other stuff than podcasts, then go to Instagram. Follow me at TrapGod619. That's TrapGod619. And then follow the podcast Instagram page as well. Another way to stay on top of things, the Trap Talk Podcast. And then also head over to Facebook. If you're on Facebook, follow and like my page, the Trap Talk Podcast on Facebook. Shouts on my Facebook users out there. You know, listen, I'm being a lot of love and support this year. I feel like this year was a huge turnaround for me in Facebook. I'm not going to lie. And I've been meeting a lot of cool people on Facebook. Can't even lie. It's been a different direction this year as far as that goes. But yeah, also, guys, good way to stay on top of what I have going on, newsletters, announcements, all that amazing stuff you can kind of be on top of if you just go over to my website, trappodcast.com. Head over to trappodcast.com. First and foremost, click that link. If you're not a USARC member, you need to do that right now. Come on, hit that link that says join today. And then after that, head back to my website and see what I have as far as my YouTube channel. That's all about the vlogs. So I do have another YouTube channel in case you guys didn't know that. It's called the Trap Vlogs. It's all about my own collection, but then I also travel once a month to do a podcast, and then I actually vlog and document the guests' collection and whoever else is in that area. Sometimes I come back with like 3 fucking vlogs, and it's killer. So anyways, be on top of that by going to trappodcast.com, click on vlogs, subscribe to my Trap Vlogs YouTube channel, and then you can also get your hands on some brand new Trap Talk 2.0 merch. Tomorrow is a big day for me. I have over like 50 shirts I need to ship out. Shit's going to be nuts. So I appreciate everyone who's been patient through the holidays. Okay, I've got to say, I've had a lot of people support me on this, and it's awesome. I got a lot of these shirts going out, and which reminds me, if anyone at Pomona, any of you going to Pomona and you have a 2.0 shirt, consider wearing it. That way it's easy. This is like the bat sign. This is like the bat signal at a show. You know what I mean? You wear this, easy to spot, and you're also repping the coolest reptile podcast in the world, and that's a fact. Seriously, go to the website, click on buy now, and get your order in, and I will get your shirts out to you as soon as possible. Thank you for all the love and support, guys. Seriously, man, 2022 was something else. 2023 is going to be better. That's what I'm talking about, man. Early birds, who's here? Who's ready to rock and roll? I know I'm ready to rock and roll. Slithery serpents, what is good? Man, I'm parched. Let me get some water. This is water here. H2O. Slithery serpents in the building. What is up? Thanks for tapping in. Deviant Glass, I salute you. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thanks for tapping in. Lily, my homegirl, tapping into Pomona next Saturday. Who's ready to meet Lily? Lily's going to be rocking her Trap Talk 2.0 shirt. I can feel it. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. The homie West, Sunshine State, Sulfurs. Hey, listen, I haven't been ignoring your message on purpose. I've been kind of confirming things. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really know who the fuck the next monitor guest is, but I do have somebody heavy. We will talk soon, Wes. Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Ricky Bobby. I feel like someone who's going to have probably one of the biggest years this year is my dog, Ricky Bobby SRT. The real shame, no lame. No lame in this shame. I can tell you that right now. This is a real deal right here. Where I can tell you, this might go follow him above all scales on Instagram. Don't fuck with my guy. He's a G. Reptile Club. What is good? The homie Angel Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Thanks for tapping in. Morphinary Arts. What is up, player? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. JKJ Reptiles Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. What up, MJ? That's Jamie from Pico Pythons. What up, player? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. We got Bods. My bad. It's the homie Jeremy. What's up, Jeremy? Thanks for tapping in. Julio. Damn, when I'm a rookie, got my phone on loud. Listen, shut up. I'm such a guy who likes to keep my phone on silent all the time. I love that I keep my phone silent. But when you got construction workers and you got people trying to build something for you, dude, I can't miss any of these calls. It's nuts. So sorry about that. That won't happen. Stop hitting me up, wherever that is. I'm just kidding. I don't even know who that is. It's probably my mom or something. Chantel, what's up? Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Julio Fulio, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Jacob Letter, Better Fetter, also probably one of the guys I'm most excited to see at the show, because if I remember last time at the Vegas show, this guy was one of the only guys to be racking in $20K in ball python sales. This guy had quite a day when I was at the Vegas show. So it doesn't matter what anyone else does. It matters what you do. And my boy Jacob, he's been killing it. That's Sybil Serpents. Go give him a follow on Instagram. He's the professor of morphs, ball python morphs, of the Trap Talk Patreon family. This guy will help you because he knows what the F he's talking about. I got to be careful with the F words too, man. I'm so weird. Like, I'm still going to cuss. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just Just whatever, dude. Whatever. Blazing Blue Tongues. What is up? No, this dude's excited for tonight's guest. I'm excited. Thanks for tapping in. Galaxy Reptiles, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Mrs. J, my wife in the building. I guess Patreon member. She's more. I mean, she's fuck, man. She's my Patreon for sure. I love her so much. I'm a Patreon. You're a member, right? You're right, babe. Yeah. The only Patreon member up here. I love my wife. Thank you so much, babe. Can't wait to this next chapter of life is going to be something else. And you're my everything. Thank you so much. Who's Geckos? My dog right here. Shout out to the homie Who's Geckos. Definitely a hitter. Josh Stover in the building. Lindsay Pico Pythons in the building. Jason Holbrook, Trap Talk Patreon member, Team Zoo Dreams. My dog. Aiden Bradley. What's up, Aiden Bradley? This fool's sick as fuck. We'll be talking soon. God, I cussed again. Ayo, Recon Boreals, what is good? Heathen Hatchery, Trap Talk Patreon member all day, every day. Midas, what's up, Midas? Brandon Hernandez, what is up? Ricky Bobby SRT with the god dang super chat, $19.99. I'll take that all day. Thank you so much, guys. Don't be shy with the super chats. You got a certain topic, you got a question regarding tonight's episode. Do not be shy with the super chats. Also, a way you can support me is by sending a super chat. Thank you to the homie Ricky Bobby SRT. And guess what? We are going to end this in fashion, okay? Shout out to the celebrity appearance of Gary Shavino. This man gets the Celebrity Appearance Award. What do I have for Gary? Oh, man, I'm going to send you something, Gary. But Gary Shavino, ladies and gentlemen, please go subscribe to GS Reptiles on YouTube and be ready for something else. This guy is my favorite. Definitely one of my favorite human beings in the reptile industry, the whole family, all that. I love Gary. And I'm dead serious. Go check out his content. If you, especially if you're new into this, you don't want to skip over Gary Shavino. He works with it all. He really does. Okay. And definitely somebody very inspiring just to know. And Gary, again, thank you so much for tapping in with my boy Johnny, because what a time me and Johnny had when I was visiting the East Coast, man. We had a great Italian dinner. He had a little bit of heartburn incident, but the guy just, he plowed through it like a G. God damn it. Afterwards, I heard it wasn't that great, but we could actually hear it for himself. But guys, listen, it's about to go down. It's Sunday. It's that 2023 very first Trap Talk Holy Lizard session of the year. Get your water, anything that you need to drink to stay hydrated, to get your mind right. But it's going down. Let's wrap up. Here we have Johnny Rhacs bringing it in for the 2023 trap season. Let's go. Chee! You ready for do more in the future? Trap Talk podcasters?
Yes.
Man.
Only Trap Talk. Exclusive.
Yes, exclusive.
Oh,
so stop calling us.
Rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the rub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it. Do it. Do it.
hey, yo, it's Johnny Rhacs.
Oh, yeah, you have me die with the heartburn thing.
Dog, I felt so big. Listen, I'm telling you right now, how much old? You're 30 years old. Remind me how old you are.
32.
32. Okay, I told you about 32 years old is when I started like noticing that I can't fucking eat whatever the fuck I wanted, especially the fried saucy shit. I had to, but I think that mixed with the beer, you just had a bad night, buddy.
Oh yeah, man. I was holding on.
Dude, but I know the feeling. I know like of being in the car, everyone's like talking, and you're just like, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
I was trying to keep my cool too. I was keeping my cool.
I bet you're sweating. Were you sweating?
No, I wasn't sweating. I don't know, like serious agita or something. I don't know.
Were you okay afterwards? What happened? I'm curious.
Oh yeah. As soon as I went home, I just went to bed. I was good.
And then you woke up like, what was that all about?
Yeah. Gary too. He felt so bad.
Oh man. You know, God bless Gary. Like Gary he'll make sure 10 times if you're okay, if not more, right?
Oh, he left me a voicemail. He left me a voicemail.
I love that about Gary, but like when I knew like it was your stomach, and every time he kept asking if he was okay, it was giving me anxiety. And I was like, bro, Josh, not Josh, excuse me. I was like, Johnny, can you just puke? I need you to puke, man. and Gary was like, yo, just puke, buddy. We'll pull over. And you're like, no, I'm good. But
you guys are having my back, though. I appreciate it.
Oh man, and what a guy to have your back like Gary Shavino.
No, Gary. I wouldn't be here on this show right now without Gary. Gary's kind of taking me on. Right. You know, and Rob too. Rob's a great guy. That was a good night, man.
What's crazy is like anyone Gary's actually lined me up with has been somebody I've just hit it off with, you know what I mean? And but I can tell you right now, like you're nobody that we like, you know, it's a lot of other reasons, like, oh, okay, he works with this, and that's why we know each other. But with you work with a different level of stuff that is so intriguing, so amazing. I can't wait to talk about why it is that Gary looks up to you for this reason. You know, yeah. Gary really is into the shit that you work with. So he was excited for me to meet you. So here we are. It's going to be an amazing time. For the people who don't know, what part of the country are you in?
I'm in New Jersey, the Jersey Shore area.
Born and raised.
Yep.
Now you know your mom full blood Italian, or what's your background?
Yeah, full blood, mom and dad.
My mom, bro, never liked the reptiles. Now that she sees it's where it's taking me alive, she's like, oh yeah, you know. But back then, man, she was a real stickler.
No,
and my mom's full blown Italian. You know what I mean? So she when she says go. So what was your family like with the reptiles? I mean, did you have reptiles?
So that's the thing. My mom is a big all my life. She was always very cool with me having reptiles, but since I was a little kid. And it's funny. I tell everyone this story. When I was younger, I was probably like 6-7 years old. Me and my mom, we used to go outside, right? And I would always catch the toads that were outside. We'd bring them into like the garage area where it was really dark, and I always put them in like cages and stuff. I would come outside and we would catch lightning bugs. Right?
Oh, those are my dude. When I used to visit back east, my favorite as a kid in summertime was catching lightning bugs, bro. They were those were summer nights. Summer nights, bro. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but those were those were the nights, bro. Summer nights.
Yeah, so we would go outside. I'd catch them. No, like it was honestly, we did it a lot. We would catch lightning bugs and bring it in, and we would feed it to the toads. Right? It would be pitch black, and when the toads would eat the lightning bug, they would literally glow up as they were eating it. And it was pretty much bang on every time we did that when I was younger, and it was just. You know, the things you did when you were a kid, you know?
who figured that out? Like, who was able to know, like, put the connections on that?
That is a really good question. I would say we just tested it and it did, but we pretty much did it every year, like for a pretty long time. And where I lived, we had, it was like a new construction area. So they kind of like ripped down a lot of the woods. And what happened was these toads would be right where like the light, like with, you know, the lights are on the street, on the corner of your street. It would attract a lot of the toads because a lot of the bugs were there. So we would go there, find them, and they're pretty much all over the place eating the bugs because the bugs are attracted to the light. And we would catch them, and you know, I don't know, we were a kid. I mean, now I would obviously be letting them go. I wouldn't be holding on to them, but.
Now everyone has their own kind of like speed on things, on how quick they learn how to keep certain animals. Like, when did things start picking up for you? At what age did you kind of like look at this stuff where you could be like, oh, I want to breed it and whatnot? Like, when did that start kicking in?
So, be honest with you, I started breeding crested geckos when I was probably around like 10 or 11. And this is like, I want to say was when Exoterra first came out. And back then there wasn't a lot of information. So I would go to the local pet store near my house. And, you know, back then, it's not like it is now, where I would wait every weekend and look at the new list of reptiles that would come in. And we got these exoterrors that just started coming out, and it was like the guy who was working there would build like forestry type, kind of, vivariums. And back then we didn't know, but I was putting crested geckos with like millipedes, and I even had a red-eyed tree frog in there. But, obviously now it is not the same, and a lot of people would say that's not the best idea, but that's how I started when I was a kid. But before that, I even started with fish. I was a big fish guy and turtle guy, and pretty much I had turtles when I was maybe like 5 or 6. So I was just always a reptile guy. I enjoy them so much. Understanding how they do things, it's a part of my life, and I'm very much committed to it.
You know what's scary, man? And this is like only because I've been in this bubble of mine for years. I guess I could say over 5 years now. I just been trying to become the best reptile keeper I can be, right? And especially, I mean, how do you expect having all these guests on my show? Like, all I could do is just hoard information and figure out new things to do things, right? Yeah. But now because of that, man, like when I go to somebody's house, this is why also I'd rather just stay home. But the majority of people, if I go to their house and they keep a reptile, god damn, man, nobody keeps it right. I would tell you right now, 9 out of 10 people like in the pet trade don't know what the hell they're doing. It's not their fault. It's because
exactly.
They get it. They did it the way I did it. I'm not gonna lie. Like I had heat lamps. I had a daylight lamp and a red light lamp. Just thinking like, oh, they want this kind of light. Oh my god, man, I'm probably cooking my animal, even though I wasn't. And ball pythons, like, thank God, ball pythons are really hard to kill. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I had my ball python, majority of my youth as a kid. But if I would have gotten to this other stuff, like what's behind me, you can't really get away with stuff like that. You know what I mean?
But that's it. What you're doing behind you is so important, because what that is doing is it's creating a standard. What happens is we started a certain direction. And listen, I was a part of it where you go, oh yeah, this guy's doing it like this, and that seems like the standard way of doing things when you hear it from everybody. But I think that now we're going this direction where I'm looking at it right now that there's a standards right behind you. And if we can start that trend, I think that's where things will change. And I think, it's gonna be a higher percentage of people going in that direction. And I'm looking at it right now. So,
Johnny, this is why I'm so adamant about being careful who you hang around with. Like if your circle, if you're the number one guy in your circle, first and foremost, depending what the number one is, right? But let's say you've been in the game for less than 5 years, keeping reptiles, and for what you see, your whole group, you're the best one. Wow. I would maybe branch out. I'm just saying, because you always want to be around people who are going to put you on shit that you've never heard about. Like, you're like, wow, you know what I mean? And that's how you get better in life, I feel like,
Absolutely.
Especially in this, because think about how many people, like Gary could attest to this. Gary's been in the game since the fucking going on 40 years now, if not more, 40 years. Sorry, Gary, I hate to say that number.
Yeah, Gary's stuff is immaculate.
But dude, he still has, I don't know, moments. I don't know how many fucking times. Like, and I bet there's questions that I've asked him that a million people's asked him throughout his career, and you just don't fucking know some of these things, It's like, but that's the beauty of it. This
is why it's good to have this. It's important.
And if it was so goddamn easy, everyone would keep these pets and keep these, but they don't. Like it's a standard that I feel like not everyone's blessed to know that there is. Like you have to be looking for it. Like if you feel like you get pity, like little like. I don't know. Like I said, if you feel like what you have is all you need to know, that's where you're wrong. There is no know-it-alls in this game. You need to find better ways all the time. Even myself, I'm never content with what I'm doing. I know there's still so much more I can do. It's just so much work, but all you can do is take it day by day, right?
Yes. So you'll hear a lot of what I'm going to talk about today is based on the line of food, right? So like, for instance, it's going to be great. So this is how I go about things, and I feel that a lot of people out there can, and this is a great part to start at, is like, I look at it as like, if you were to go in your kitchen and you look at, your granny's recipe, right? From 20 years ago, right? I look at it as the same thing as the reptile world. So what you're doing is you're looking what happened and what was the basis back then. But then, let's take that and say, let's innovate a little bit. Let's put a little bit of this, Cajun spice or salt and pepper, a little more salt and pepper, and, grabbing these other things to kind of innovate. And that's kind of how I've done things, is that I've learned from great people and mentors that I consider, and then I kind of add my own spices and see how that kind of goes. And you start off with a platform, which is Granny's recipe, and then you kind of add in your flavor, I guess is the word. So that's kind of the direction.
And if any guy or woman knows how to handle in the kitchen, then this really makes a lot of sense, because a lot of my inspiration in the kitchen, and probably how I bagged my hot wife, was because I grew up eating the best Mexican food. And I'm probably being biased because it's my grandpa, but nobody made better Mexican food than my grandpa. And I ate that shit all the time, bro. Like, I'm talking like I would call from elementary school. He would just pick me up and bring me back to his house, and I would just eat. And like, I got away with life just eating my grandpa's food. But like, obviously, I remember the one thing was when I left San Diego at 16 to go live in Washington with my dad. And Washington, you kidding me? Like, they ain't got fucking Mexican food up there. They do now. They do now, but back in 2002, 2002, it wasn't like what I had. It was crazy. It was just nuts. So, but right then and there, like, I try to figure things out. Like, I tried to, like, okay, I have to work with what I have. How can I make it as close as how my grandpa did it? And you got to work with what you have. But I started with good quality food. You got to get the best food. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and like premium meat and stuff like that. My dad hated when I go grocery shopping, because I would get like I want the bomb stuff. You know what I mean? And I was just that guy. But you got to work with what you have, and you have to just the process must be trusted. Am I right, Johnny? Like, you have to just chill. People have even myself, people have a problem with just chilling and just let it be, and let it fruit when it needs to fruit. Right.
Yeah. And that's what, to be honest with you, this is how I gotten so far in the reptile world. And I try to follow that method, especially with the geckos, is I call it the triple Ps. And start with the first P, which is patience, which is the ultimate thing ever. If you want to get somewhere in here, you have to have patience. And then your other biggest one is producing. And then I finish that with percentages. So what we're doing is we're not selling off all our production. We're keeping a certain percentage, and we're going to take that and keep using it. So when you have you produce 6 babies, you're going to take, 3 or 4 of those, a percentage, and keep those, and then just kind of keeping it going each year. And if you can have your patience, do some good production, and then have your percentages, you're well on your way in the reptile world. If you're wanting to do this, long term.
So one thing I respect about how excited you are to be where you're at. I respect that throughout this time of being this, you've always been low key. Like, you've always held back a lot of the stuff that you could be flamboyant about, because kind of like think about it, right? Everyone wants a huge Instagram following.
Yeah.
But I always tell now, especially now, because there's all these algorithms that are figured out. So it's easy to know how to just do things when you want to do them. I feel like that whole big following thing is not an importance to you right now for some reason. And I want to talk about the game plan behind that and whatnot, if you don't mind. Have you always been a chill guy, Johnny? Like, you always been behind the scenes as far as what you're doing when it came to like not school stuff and whatnot? Like, were you always kind of private?
Yeah, I was always like, I actually played sports. I played lacrosse, and I was always the guy that, like, when I scored a goal, I'm not. It's like, I'm not. Oh yeah, look at me. Like,
You go to the opponent, shake their hand. Oh, here. Just kidding.
No,
we had a guy who was like, dude, he was like, I can't say he was off, but man, he was really good. And like, he would like do that. He would do stuff like that. Like, after he would hit like a home run, he'd go to the pitcher and shake his hand and like, dude.
Nah. So the opposite. I like, when I score, I like to win, and that's kind of, and I kind of stay. I'm not a rah type guy. So
Right.
To me, it's earning and putting the reptiles first. So if you ever notice, like, my Instagram, a lot of the things I do is just kind of stay relevant, but ultimately is to have production and show establishment through captive bred animals. And that's important to me. So if you look at some of my Instagram stuff, like some of my skinks, a lot of it's just the babies I've produced. Because to me, that's what the importance is to establish. And even just sitting here right now, like, I would, when you ask me, and like, give me questions to answer, like, I would love to give information. I'm no skink king. There's a lot of people out there that have laid down and I've learned a lot from. This is not just all me. There's tons of great people in Australia, that are doing it great, and here in the United States, there's a ton of those guys.
Yeah, I want to let everyone out there know that I call them the Skink King. So if you got a problem with that, let me know, okay?
I knew what it was.
You can come this way if you got a problem. In this guy, listen, first and foremost, in my world, you are the Skink King because I never gave two shits about skinks until you put me on with the type of skinks that you work with. And it's kind of like shame on me for not understanding that there's a whole nother world out there.
Oh, yeah.
Almost with anything, like you can't really just because if one thing isn't your taste, like there's other stuff out there. You know what I mean?
I mean, for your snake guys though, this is like you shouldn't even call them skinks. You should call them transitional because they're literally snakes that are being turned transitionally into a lizard. So right. I mean, hey, this is, you know, maybe still a lot of like, look at Gary, he's loving the skinks, you know. Look, he's coming on your show now. I see that he's coming on your show.
Bro, the biggest W, man. Man, we've been jerking Gary off like a lot. It's only been 30 minutes, and this guy's been just. I think he already left. He's probably like, oh god, they stopped talking about me.
He's worried about his. He thinks he doesn't want to come on because he's worried he's gonna be talking about the Carpondros. You know,
well, he destroyed that community. Unfortunately, he just, you know, he not only did he damper or put salt onto the ball python community that he's now back in, and you know, it's all about the MJ Lightning Pies, but now. He just burnt and just shit all over the Compondro community. Now he's on his way to the Ballandro or what's the ball python chondro? What is that? What I forget. Does anybody know what the ball chondro or what's the oh my Jesus, someone's gonna say. But anyways, Gary's on to bigger, better things right now. But listen, I want to do definitely. What were we just talking about right now before we said Gary? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
Talk about how like skinks are like you're kind of seeing the, like, you know, the other side of it, like you're entering into the new. Okay,
so first and foremost, I think you have a unique like way into the skink game, like what you have available, what you have. I don't know, not available, what you have project wise, definitely next level, which really brought my attention to what you have going on first and foremost. So the skinks, right? When did the skinks become even a breeding project into your life?
I've always liked them. I watched a big, you know, guy I've watched, you know, all my life was Steve Irwin. So I've always watched a lot of his stuff and you know, fell in love with the skinks then. And then, you know, now there's guys out there, you know, in the United States that are doing really good with them. You know, one of them, which is a big mentor to me, is Dave Sutton. You know, a good buddy of mine, Paul Wool, you know, got me in contact with him, and we've been, you know, great friends. And he's taught me a ton of stuff. Actually, believe it or not, Dave Sutton's mentor is Ernie Wagner.
Whoa!
Yeah, he met him in 1984. And I think there's a connection there with Gary's. You know, he was one of the first to produce the Stardust Diamond python in 2007, I want to say. So I got in contact with him, and he's been very successful with them, and then he's kind of just helped me out.
Bro, look at these things. What the hell, bro? What is
absolutely
this?
Amazing.
Oh shit! Yep. No, go back. No, right here. This is crazy. Okay, hold on. These are the Tequila Negrolutia.
Is it's all right. They're blotched blue tongue. So they come in those are the Highland forms. So they come in the blue
my gosh, you're so sick, dog. I can't get over these. You produce these?
I produced them, yeah, a couple litters, yeah. Live birthing animals, yep.
They just come right on out, just like kind of like a boa or something.
I've seen them the litter this past year. She was holding on to the baby so long, and I'm like, oh no! And it was literally on my birthday. What I do is I get a cup of coffee and I do what I call my rounds. So I'll check on things, and I go, oh watch, she's probably having babies on my birthday. Literally, as I walked in the room, she had a baby coming. Like literally, she was delivering a baby as I seen her.
Hey, listen.
You guys can see a picture on my Instagram that you'll see a picture of her having the baby. It's with Ace Ventura. With the rhino.
This one? Oh my gosh. I love Ace Ventura.
Yeah, I just put that together.
Real. It looks like it's just like maybe like hanging out behind its mom, but no, it's coming out of the mom.
Yeah, that's live birth right there.
That is gnarly.
These guys are not easy to breed, and I've kind of gotten in that direction where I'm kind of starting to figure them out, and you know, they are an amazing species.
Okay, listen, it's geek mode. I want to know right now, and I mean, this is the species we just looked at as babies. This is the same one, the blue blotch.
Yeah, so that's one of my captive bred 2021s. That was actually from my first litter. Yes, that's a female. Yep.
Who got you into this game? How did you even stumble across it?
What, Blotched Blue Tongues?
Yes, we're talking this one right now.
So Dave Sutton, I got in contact with him, but a lot of the stuff was social media through like I don't know if you know a guy that you should. That's the true skink king, Joe Ball. So he has videos on YouTube of Joe Ball. I think it's blue tongue lizards at .au, I think. But I watched a lot of his videos on YouTube, and I know they're here in the States. There's a guy, Phil Tremper has a bunch, and Kim Lancy had a good founding stock, and I found them. And actually Dave Sutton had a male, and I got in contact, and then that's how we kind of hit it off, and he kind of mentored me, and I gave it a shot. I'm a big positive person, so if you know this, I'm sure when you hear the naysayers in your ear, it doesn't stop me type thing. And I gave it a shot, and it's been working. And I'm hoping to share information so that more people can breed them, because I think they're, to me, the ultimate pet. I call them little punks, but they're just an amazing species to work with. So docile, so easy, so beautiful, natural looking. That's a natural occurring animal right there. So, that's
so sick.
Yeah, dude.
All right. So you got these as babies, I'm assuming?
Well, when I first started my project, I got adults actually, and it took me a few years to condition them, because when you start to get them from other parts of the country, they tend to they're not as used to where you're from. So I had to condition them for a few years, and then we had a shot, and I got the shot, and it's so I back to the food. They are, I consider, the prime rib of skinks. So meaning low and slow. If you have that heat on the barbecue at high and you're putting the steak down, the outside's going to cook, but the inside is not going to be ready. And that's what I look at it with these guys, is that we are low and slow. We are not in a rush. They need to be cooled, but they need to be in a slow kind of manner. If you're speeding the process, the timing and windows can just be totally blown out. And with these guys is you have one shot. And you'll have to start over, the following year. So
correct me if I'm wrong, because with the chondros, right? We all know the stories of chondros, how they just demolish hearts, and just that's a really unpredictable thing. But I've also heard what's worked for some people is going lower in temps and just waiting longer. You know what I mean? Sometimes I don't know, but it's there's a lot of back and forth on that too. But I always feel like you're always better to kind of undercook than overcook, in a sense, right? That's always a better case than for almost any reptile.
I think with reptiles overall, if you're going to get into reptiles, we have to go into, as soon as we walk into trying to purchase a reptile, especially ones that are really hard to breed, or not really hard, this animal couldn't be bred by other people, is we got to put with their needs and wants first, not not our needs and wants. When we go into it giving them our needs and wants, your percentages have really just skyrocketed down low. But if we give them what they need and want, it will change the game. Understanding your animal, I think that if you're going on a gap where it's hot and it's cold and you're not putting the in between, you can get yourself into not as being successful. We got to in their parameters of their cage, give them everything they need and want. In the end, these guys are live birthing animals, so they are their own incubator through gestation. So for instance, people that are incubating their eggs, you have to pretty much perfect that and put it at the right temperature, whereas they're doing it themselves. So it's hard for us, but now that we have people that have pioneers that have done it, but for them, it has to be just right. But we don't know what they need, right? We don't know how to make it just right for them through gestation. So giving them many options and giving them what they want and need is beyond important through a lot of reptiles in a sense. So
We just had just shy of 60 people in the building. Shout out to everyone. But guys, especially if you're in the skink game, thank you for being here. But we don't rock with the 30 likes to 60 ratio watching. Okay. So if you guys don't mind, especially my boy Johnny, we're just getting our wheels going here. Can you guys please get the likes up for my boy Johnny Rhacs? I'd really appreciate it because I'm about to geek out over this. And by the way, this isn't the only thing he works with. This is just one of many amazing projects. We're kind of getting into some bread and butter stuff here for what you're excited to be working with year in, year out, right? I would say at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is to me, I ultimately love these guys, man. They're an amazing species. The brains on them, understanding them. I think it's, I'm having a lot of fun. I love the geckos. The geckos are where it started for me. And I love them very much as well. But, this is like cool. Like we were talking before, a mic check, how you're well, I know him too. He's a good friend. Brian Suzan was on. And
he said it right. Suzan.
Yeah. I made sure to say it right. I remember last time. So he went in the direction where it's, he went into monitors and he started with the rack, a lot of the Rhacs and the Chihuahua. And it's kind of the where I am, I'm ultimately a reptile guy. So I try to challenge myself and go in another direction as well.
Okay. I'm not going to lie. I used to always love asking this question because if you ask this question and it goes in your favor, that means what? You could get more of it. And my question is, how does cohabbing work? Because I mean, are these babies living together? Are these adults? What's going on as far as how you like to keep them and stuff? Shout out to John.
So those are John. That's John Sinkertainer. That guy. Another guy.
Huge mentor. When it comes to the monitor or mentoring, this is my number one guy, bro. Like this is my number one guy. John, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys go watch that episode with me and John. It was quite a time. And not only does his monitor game influence me, but him being a family guy and a father. I love it, man. John is the all-around package, man. And he can design women's shoes. I'm like, what the bro?
Johnny and I are really close. You'd be pretty surprised. I've learned a lot from John with monitors as well. So he's helped me out produce Kimberly Rock Glower Dye. And Aki's too. That was a little like side project I did to try to test myself. It was just more for fun, and Johnny was a big part of that. So
before we get back into things, I want to say, like, I see John's plates full at home. God damn, is it full? You know what I mean? He
hustles, man.
He hustles. But the thing is, like I see that what he's full with, he's so fulfilled with enjoyment. Like everything that he pulled out. If you guys actually go to the Trap Vlogs YouTube channel and catch the vlog I did at his place, his excitement behind every animal is the same. He keeps the same energy, the same love. Everything that he keeps, he really truly enjoys. The guy's been around for a while. I think that's the way to go. Like, we're talking about stuff that you're really obsessed with. You know what I mean? So and there's so many cool things. Like don't follow the trends is what I'm trying to say, man. This is this is why you got to do what you love. John, you're definitely a staple of that. And thank you, John from Simp Container.
Johnny. So I mean, I know you're talking about cohabbing. So those are that's a litter. They're all the same litter. Those are actually grow out, like they're juveniles. So they're split now, but you can get away with cohabbing them if you have the right size caging. I've done it before, but it's during breeding season that you kind of don't want to. I mean, some females you might be able to get away with keeping, but you don't want to have a male in there, because once he goes into a shed and he starts to ramp up on his testosterone levels there and hormones, he'll start to just be relentless, and it can cause a lot of issues if you're not watching.
Could it be issues maybe as far as stress for the female, but then also like does he like go into a shutdown mode? Like does overbreeding shut him down or something like that too?
Well, with the males, once they go during breeding season, especially blotched blue tongues, they're not going to eat. They most likely, when they wake up. So that's maybe something I'll talk about too, is the whole breeding process if you want.
Yeah, of course. That's what we're getting into. Yeah, 100%.
So right now they're actually brew mating at about the blotched blue tongues are about 47 degrees right now. They're like when I first started it. So what I do is I'll do my health checks at least once or twice a week, and I'll check on the animals just to see how they're doing. When I first started, because of how cold they are, it's almost like a rigor mortis. Like they're stiff, but they're like they're alive and they're good. But it scared me when I first started. But now they're starting to go into a deep cool, so I'll get them maybe in the 46-degree range, maybe a little higher. But I feel like you can get away with keeping them at 50 degrees brumation. But yeah, so what I do is, I shut them down fully. The females are down. And I've learned this a lot from a lot of people, like Kim Lancy and Phil Tramper and guys in Australia. A good friend of mine that breeds them outside, Richard Connolly. I've learned a lot from him, and I think it's important to understand how they work and tick on the outside and kind of put that into your program on the inside. But so they're in cool. So right around touching February, I'll start to wake up the male. And I think this plays, in the wild, males will come out, venture off, get themselves going, eat, start to bask. And what they do is they go into a shed. And what a lot of the people, breeders out there say is it's called going into the blue. The animal, the male will start to shed and their skin kind of turns white. And that's pretty much, like a check off the list to start the females to start waking up. And, I'll start waking. Yeah. So it's about the male wake up period is probably like 3 weeks. And it's not easy, being that you have them all in the same room. My goal is to kind of still try to keep the ambience down because the females are still in the same area. So we're trying to keep the females down while waking the male up. So it could be a little bit of a pain, but heat pads, ultratherm heat pads work really well. So I'll put that on a thermostat. I'll start to get the temps up, and their belly heat will just be good enough alone to kind of trigger them to wake up. Once they wake up, the male, it's a 3-week process. And what I'll do is, your light switch is getting that GI tract going. Once you get their food up, it's like a light switch. So they start to kind of get going in. And then once male starts to go into a shed into the white or the blue, I start to wake up the females. And my thing is that, like, you're just observing. Like, as a reptile keeper, you want to observe and you're watching everything that goes on. So I'll start to wake up the females. But, I'm not trying to rush them or force them. What I do is, while the male is up, I'll put a tarp over the females. And they're actually in wooden, like, pit styles. And I put a tarp over. What happens is it keeps the coolness from the ground inside, and it kind of keeps it at the temps and stable temps that I need them while the males are waking up. And then what I do is I take that off. The ambient air starts to get in, and they're basically like a thermostat. Once the temperature starts to go into the high 50s and it hits that 60 mark, you'll start to see them kind of pop out and get their first drink of water. And I'm not rushing them. I'm watching them. I don't want to rush or force anything. And then that's kind of how I start with them. Once the male starts to shed, I call it like little punk syndrome. Like their hormones start to come alive, and they do this little like Komodo dragon strut. And you're knowing that they're entering into their window. They're ready to breed. So
wow,
females start to work them in, start to feed them. Again, we can manipulate. So like if you're having 1 or 2 males and you have a bunch of females, I manipulate. So I'll maybe wake up the male one male a couple weeks early, and then start to wake the other male up. Right. Vice versa with the females. When I start to wake the females up, I manipulate because I don't want them all entering into the same window when I go to breed. And then, miss some windows. So there's a level to it. So I'll start to wake up one female, right? And then, in another cage, I'll start to wake up another female, and I start to kind of stagger it, maybe 1 week, and then another blotched female another week, so that we're entering windows. Because again, with blotched blue tongues, they have like a 4-day window, maybe 5 days, and you're done, and I've learned that myself. So it's not as easy,
Holy shit, bro.
But males they're developing sperm plugs for like 3 weeks to a month. So that's a way to manipulate, is to work with your males. They're your safety net. So get them going, and then you can start to manipulate how you wake up your females. And that's kind of how I do it. Once you feed them and they start eating, the clock is ticking. Their GI tract, their metabolism's moving. That's when things start to change.
This is the kind of I don't know, man. That seems pretty well thought and like well researched, and that's the kind of shit I seek after. And
observant.
Observe it. Yeah, because it's like, man, if you're paying attention, you do the right things, you know that they're happy. You know that they're like, things are going. And I don't know, one touchy subject. And I respect the person who said this and everything, but I always feel like depending on the reptile, not every reptile will breed in really terrible conditions. Like if you don't give them what they need, you're not going to get, like, even if you do breed, it's not going to more likely be healthy. But others think that you could neglect the shit out of them. And if you put a female male together and it happens, it could still happen. What do you think about it? I mean, do you feel like with these?
I think it's possible because you got to realize when they're in the wild, look how harsh their conditions is. Because if you go the other direction, you start feeding your animals heavy and overfeeding them, well, production isn't going to be good either. So right. I understand where they're coming from, where it's like you can neglect, but at the same time, like they're made for that. Because in the wild, what is it? It's not all Twinkies and have what you want. It's not easy out there. So yeah, I mean, look in the wild, most of them are neglected. So, but ultimately my thing going into this is, yeah, we can all have mentors. I have mentors, but the ultimate mentor is the reptile. They are the ones teaching you. Dude. So when I walk into a reptile room,
I've never heard that before, dog. That was sick. I've never heard that before. That was so hard. Dude, the reptile is the mentor, dog.
Absolutely. So, for instance, there's a Western, a Taliqua occipitalis. So they are. It's. So if you go look, I have it. It's like a tan with a striping. It's not. It's right next to my blotched blue tongues. They are my ultimate mentor because they taught me something. The one on the right.
Yeah. Oh my God! What is that?
Those are one of my favorites. They're the ultimate hunter. They're like, if they're just.
Whoa, that thing looks sick looking, dog. Wow, that is so cool. Can you put those together at some point or no?
No, that's the hybridizing.
So yeah, so wait, so because they're different species is what you're saying.
Total different species. One's a higher elevation, foresty type area.
Hey Johnny, you didn't have to laugh like I'm a fucking Capondro keeper or something, okay? I didn't know if these things were compatible.
No, because people down low are gonna start saying, "Oh, he's hybridizing now."
No, I don't. Listen, I'm a part of Gary's cult with the whole Capondro thing. I think that's terrible. I do. I really except Tony Jerome. Shout out to Tony Jerome. I like Tony Jerome. Anyways.
So I'm not 100% sure on this, but back to they are my mentor too, in a sense. So that occipitalis taught me a lot this year. Oof. And it's not proven, but what I did was last year or 2 years ago where I wasn't having success, I would walk into the room, and if people out there that are watching know occipitalis, they're very like, they don't want to be messed with. And that's the other thing is that I've learned is understanding the mind of an animal is just as important as just the simple things of taking care of an animal. So they taught me when I would walk into the room during breeding season, all my females, because I have them in cages, they would just be like, run away and freak the fuck out. And I'm saying to myself, I'm like, these guys they're not going to produce and have a litter of babies when they're acting like that. So I've noticed that, and I'm not saying this is proof, like, it's a definite, but what I did was I put brown paper across their glass cages. So almost like putting blinders on a horse. So when I would open the room, they're not as scared because they're not seeing what's going on the outside. That happened. And this year I had, out of 4 females I bred, 3 had litters.
And honestly, like that could also depend on the personality of the animal. Like, I mean, you could also like have holdbacks that you raise up, and they might not need that whole paper thing. But it's up to you to figure that out. You have to adjust. Like,
well, I said to myself, I'm like, dude, like they're scared shit of me when I'm walking in. I'm like, how are they gonna want to have babies? How? Yeah. Things got to be right. They are their own incubator, and things not right, they could just totally say, F this, I don't want to do it, and absorb or, not do things. And, is it a definite? No, but this is why we talk, is because this information is now recorded, and maybe there's a little thing that people don't know about, but these guys are, I guess if you say back to the steaks, is like a thin cut, you like it medium well, because they like it real warm. So I think there's a more of a faster pace. So when I would start to wake them up, we're getting them right in the thick of things, because where they come from in the desert, I mean, the desert, if you've ever been, Arizona's not far from you, is that, yeah, it could be, 30, 40 degrees, but when the sun kicks up, man, it's a total spike in temp. And I believe that the direction I went with these guys is getting them, pretty hot, pretty quick. Dude,
I respect anyone who lives in conditions like Arizona. It's like, you must really be about that herper life, because it gets really extreme on both different ends. We're talking extreme hots, and then you get snow, and you're like, what the hell? But what's crazy and what makes these animals so amazing is like the reptiles that live in the conditions like that. You know what I mean? That's why there's no straightforward type keeping or like recommendation as far as temps with things like this. Like nothing straightforward about these. Your room matters. The traffic matters. All sorts of these things matters in relates to these animals being comfortable in their surroundings. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Exactly.
I do want to say though, man, one big game changer is that, ever since I got these cages behind me, I put the tree monitors right here. The green tree monitors used to be right here to the right of me, right?
Yeah.
And literally I'll be talking and they'd be just like spazzing out. And I'm like, and it wasn't like him trying to breed her. They were just like, something was a reflection, but they were just spazzing out. And I'm like, dude, what is going on? And so a time came where I noticed there was no breeding going on. I was like, I need to pull the male for a little bit. Let me just let them chill. And then God bless, I got Mac Dre and Alice's upgraded enclosure. So I went ahead and put the female was in like a 5 foot tall, 2 foot deep, 4 foot across enclosure. Okay. And that's not tiny, but it could be bigger for a green tree monitor, right? So now went from there to a 6 foot tall, 3 foot deep, 4 feet across enclosure. And I put her in there for about 2 weeks, reintroduced the male, and things just like, oh wow, okay, this is what I was looking for. You know what I mean? But also, I'm in this room way more, unless I'm doing work in that room, right? Which is still every day. For the most part, I'm doing so much editing and like podcast prep in this room. And I think I don't think they liked having someone in front of them that much. I think that adjustment had privacy. A lot.
The monitors, they have brains, man. They are the ultimate. So I consider reptiles, all of them, to me, I look at it as just computer systems and understanding how the computer system works.
Yeah.
And again, whipping the recipe back out. Look what you just did right now, is that you can now write that in the recipe notes and say, you know what, this is what happened and this is how it was. And now look at what changed. And I think that's what's important, what you're doing right now, is because you can find something right now, what you're doing that you observed, and you can put in your recipe book, and you got something. And guess what? If she has a clutch of eggs, and I know from Johnny Sim, is that as long as your nest box is really good, you're going to have a nice clutch of eggs, because, that's what they look for, female monitors, for sure.
Hey, yo, listen, if you got eggs, put them inside of a sim box. That's what you should do. You got to put your eggs inside of a sim box. A little, how you doing? Call your sister in the morning. That's just how we do it.
Yeah,
listen, guys.
Have some shrimp parm and a little stomach ache.
Bro, yeah, a little artery clog. Nothing's going to matter. Let's go. Listen, I got to say right now, every egg I've hatched out since 2018 has been out of a sim container, okay? Strictly over water. I do over water, even though there's water jellies, a lot of different methods. I feel like you could just do whatever you got to do to figure out what works for you. But if you just want to talk about simplicity and being able to hatch anything as far as the egg, sim containers where it's at. Shout out to the sponsor, Sim Container. Love you, John.
John's best.
John is. I love John.
You got another sponsor there, Doug. That's another good friend of mine.
Dude, can you believe that? Dougie Fred?
You got it. Look at these guys.
It's my boy, bro. I'm very proud of my 2000. I'm proud of any sponsor I've had. I literally could say that anyone who supported my podcast, I'm so proud of. Okay, but if you want to talk about 2023 type shit, man, the energy going into 2023 with support. This guy right here, Doug, bro, this is the man right here, dog. But what's funny is like you meet somebody like Doug, and you're like, man, I want to meet more cool people. And then you came into my life. Literally, I met Doug 2 weeks before I flew to the East Coast, and you and I met. And now here I am have another reason of getting geeked out over this shit. And I gotta tell you, man, this is amazing. The energy's great.
Yeah, and I went to Tinley with Doug. We were room together.
Yeah, but you fucking you bitched out. You didn't say hi to me at all. Like
I know, because you were in the hotel getting sound check, and I didn't want to bother you. I don't know.
I was there for almost 3 days. I was there for almost 3 days, bro. Guarantee you walked by me at the show.
I see you in the hotel, and I did want to say hi, but I just didn't want to, like, you know, get you all, you know, I know you're in the zone.
And you know, listen, I've talked about this before. Like, I wish I could let people know. And I say, hey, listen, come say hi to me anytime you want on the podcast. But some people still don't put the 2 and 2 together, because like sometimes I can look really busy, or and they're like, oh, I'm not going to mess with this fool right now. You know what I mean? But man, I've had people out there, like more recently, I had somebody hit me up in the DMs. He's like, hey, you know, he told me he didn't see how he was like, hey, I understand you had to do what you had to do on your last podcast, but I don't like how you called certain people out. And I'm like, and I scrolled, I was like, when was the last time this guy's who is him? Whoever ever talks to me, Johnny, I instantly look at the past. I'm like, did we ever talk before? And sure enough, the last time this guy ever hit me up was in 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, bro, first and foremost, I haven't spoken to you in 3 years. 3 years. Why you come? What do you want? Like what? And he's like, hey, listen, man, you go to the shows, you walk by my booth all the time. You don't say hi to me. Bro, I don't know who the fuck you are. What do you mean? How do you I don't understand. Like, I don't follow the guy, and it's not on purpose, but how do you want me to automatically know who you are? And so anyways, I just feel like
you gotta work your way in, man. You gotta build it up, you know?
That's wild. Ben, you say hi to me anytime you want, Johnny. Listen, in the middle of a podcast, you come say hi. You have that kind of power, bro. Like, it's Johnny Rhacs. Come on in, say what's up. Because guess what? You know, live. I'm going live and direct again at Tinley, baby. The only podcast to be going live Friday nights, right there in front of Bar Banana, the most cracking bar at the Tinley show. It's a fucking party. Isn't it a party or what?
Yeah, I had a good time, man. That was my second Tinley. The first, I went to another Tinley, and I was there went in and then left that night, and it was kind of more hectic. Whereas this one, I got to enjoy it. I got to hang out with Doug. I went to Doug's place, and I had a really good time and got to enjoy it for sure.
Man, and
it would have been better if I just went up to you and said, "Yo, what's up?"
But you know, listen, everything has its timing. You know, the way we met in the East Coast, and the way that we have this podcast in now, it's going to be even more valuable when it comes to us meeting on the next run. And but either way, man, yeah.
I love what you're doing, dude. I believe that you are the ultimate puzzle piece to finisher, where you're getting everybody together and you're really bringing the community together. And that's why I love. And your energy is crazy. You're funny as shit, and I love what you're doing. I believe that's actually helping us as a whole. And again, you're that finishing puzzle piece, and I appreciate what you do for sure.
Yeah, you know, in my passion and the way I come off might not seem like I'm here for people, but I'm really here for the people. Like, for the people, I'm here for the people. And I'm talking about the most ultimate reptile keeper, the one who really is about learning. I am here for you guys. That's why I come through and do this, because, you know, I said this very selfishly before. We're in 2023 now, so I don't want to kind of say how I used to say it, but man, I started this podcast not giving a fuck about nobody. And I said, I'm going to do a podcast, and I don't care if I smoke. I don't care if I drink, because guess what? These people want to come on the show, and I'm going to learn. I'm going to keep learning, because I don't need a podcast. I have so much shit cracking off with the animals, bro. We're like, this is a free, like, schooling I just did for myself. And I'm like, but it took off, because, bro, at the end of the day, respect, like real recognize real. You know that saying, right? Real recognize real. And absolutely. I got some real ass fucking viewers. I got some real ass fucking supporters.
You got good people in your corner, man.
Dude, sure. There are some real people out there that fuck with me, and thank you to all those real people. But those real people have realized how real this shit is, and when I bring other real people on. So what I'm saying is, like, you could think what you want of me, but the real is here. Like there's no second guessing. There's no like, whoa, like, you know, no, everything that I say comes from the goddamn experiences that I've had in this show, or from what I learned from a guest. But dude, I love it.
To me, like, being on here, I went into this doing the best I can to give information out. That's why I'm on here, is more than anything. It's not really, I don't want to look at it as like sales or anything like that. Yeah, it obviously keeps my passion going, but to me, it's just getting getting information out and trying to help. And again, I would even love for people to reach out to me and I can understand some information, because it is important, because I didn't get where I'm at without a lot of people that laid down the groundwork, and maybe I'm another puzzle piece that can help someone else down the line and open up doors, because I believe that it's important. And again, setting that standard, I think, is really, really important. If we can set a standard through husbandry, I think it's key.
And again, if you got a problem with me calling my boy, the Skink King, you got to take it up with Doug as well.
Doug's my consigliere, you know. Go take it up with him. Yeah.
Good luck. Okay. Now you got two bulls to deal with. Shout out to my boy Doug. Standards is everything, but let's talk about some realness in your age when you really started taking standards seriously. And dude, I literally am 37 years old, and I started taking my standards, I want to say, really serious this year. Okay. So there's no shame on when it happened, but
Absolutely.
when did you kind of really started seeing like the holes that needed to be filled when it came to like standards and whatnot? At what age did you start connecting those dots?
Believe it or not, the animals is my mentor. And when I got them here is when you start to realize a lot of things. So you start to understand their wants and needs. And I go that was a standard that was set, but their wants and needs are not at that standard. Their standard needs to be changed. And I've learned a lot through that. Again, and then there's even people out here that create that standard and you learn from. When you watch YouTubers, like look at Brian Barczyk right now and his the lizard, the zoo he has. He's creating.
Wait, have you been to the Reptarium?
No, and I'm actually really cool with Brian. And I gotta get there.
Are you going to Tinley in March?
I won't be, because I will be breeding my skinks, and every day counts.
So
but I will be October.
So can you possibly maybe take an extra 2 days to come with me to the Reptarium and meet Barczyk? We could all kick it. Are you down for that?
Absolutely, because I'm cool with Brian. We talked about how we've met and became close, because I've met him a few times, but we talked about the story of how we met. But Brian is another big guy that I've watched, and back then when I saw his facilities, I go like in my head, I'm like, wow, he's doing it. I could do it too. And I think he was another big important factor that kind of made me take the torch and really go with it.
I mean, like, that's why, bro. Like, I'm first and foremost, I let my own personal character do my judgment for me, and it's, sometimes I'm a little quick to judge, I won't lie, but after meeting someone like Barczyk, right, no matter, okay, like, here's the thing, like, I know there's limits to what people could do before you could be like, yeah, that's pretty bad, but not, like, it's never been anything close to that with Barczyk. I've always been inspired on what Barczyk has even been to me, right? But
yeah.
Whenever I find somebody who has a big problem with Barczyk, it's such an easy, like, especially because, dude, nobody could ever give me the reason.
He's a real dude, man.
He's such a genuine, real fucking dude, bro.
He's the same guy. He even remembers certain things. He's a really genuine guy, and I'm happy I met him. I know he's really busy, so it's hard to sometimes catch up with him, but he's a really good guy for sure. And he's a standard setter. Look what he's doing. He's elevated. He's always evolved. Like, you can't hate on his current game whatsoever. You were there. I was there. We might have saw what we saw in our own program, but then you start to realize that, and that's how Brian went. He's starting to, like you said, elevate himself. He realizes a lot of things, and he is a standard setter. So when you watch him, little kids are watching, and we create that standard. That's when things take in a different direction. Our husbandry is going to be, at a higher level, and I hope that's the direction it goes for sure.
And if you want me to be honest, I always here's the thing, like, I felt like high standards at certain, like, once you understand, like, dude, it was very quick for me to realize how frequent I should give my reptiles water. Like, I was like, what, like, I stressed about that. Like, I can never open up a tub, see like a piece of shit in the water and close it. Like, who could?
Yep. I'm like piece of aspen shavings. Like,
anything.
Yeah, I'll see a piece of aspen. I'm like, got to do it again.
But like that was something I know I'm like, dude, I could help that by just giving more water, But like for instance, like I had these all in Sterilite Target tubs, man. Force fan.
You started somewhere though. You see, you started somewhere. You started somewhere. You created a standard.
My best friend, Force Fanning, watching this right now, man.
I watch Force a lot.
He was the first one who I fell in love with what he kept, but he also kept this beautiful shit. Not all of it, but he kept a lot of it in tubs, and he had it on racks. And I remember asking him, because I always thought you needed, like, and I didn't come in this with money at all. I had no money, bro. I was fucking broke. So I was like, dude, wow, you don't need this to keep them? And he told me everything. He's like, basically the way he kept them was quarantine, which that's how, like, even before this, that's how you should do something. Plastic, Sterilite, like something clean, right? With Condor. I'm talking this stuff, right? So like, I was like, that was like my go-to. I was like, okay, fuck it. I could afford tubs. Like, and like, he told me how hot to keep the room, how to keep the heat tape and all sorts of stuff. So next to, bro, within a year, I went from 2 chondros to like 20 chondros, bro. But the thing was like, as much as I felt like, hey, Forrest did it, I could do it. Well, Forrest passed away. And when he passed away, I found out that Forrest also didn't want to keep these in tubs forever. Like he had plans, he had things that he wanted to do, which made me open up my eyes and make me realize that, dude, I need to evolve somehow. I want to give these snakes a better life or something that I can enjoy them in, and at the end of the day, and this is nothing against anyone who keeps reptiles in tubs. Do you? I did it, but it's hard to enjoy it like that. It really is, because first and foremost, it's just, you got to take it down. You got to like literally like open it up to enjoy it, where I don't need to do that with these. You know what I mean?
There's certain situations too, like, for instance, like Leachianus geckos and chihuahuas and stuff like that.
Right.
Even my gargoyles, like, starting as babies, they actually do really well in smaller kind of like 6-quart containers. If they're not eating, usually I'll put them in a little smaller containers, but it works, but as they grow and start to become adults, I would think caging really would work pretty good too.
This all comes with, like, if your standards are getting higher, you're doing the right thing.
And I know I don't want to go into like the drama part of it, but I believe that YouTube is the ultimate area where it could go either way. I mean, you're good advertisement or bad advertisement, and there has been a lot of bad advertisement for certain YouTubers that kind of, it's upsetting. It's unfortunate. Obviously, I don't want to say names, but it can either go as good advertisement or bad advertisement. People are watching ultimately, and some things I feel need to change to create a better standard. But we'll see where it goes. There are a lot of good ones out there, and there's plenty of that you bring on the show, and collections that you go to that are just absolutely amazing. So.
Listen, whoever watches this the most, I need you guys to start collecting points, okay? Because if you guys noticed right now, this nice gentleman said he doesn't want to mention any names. 2022 MJ would have been like, no, you're going to tell me a name. You're going to tell me a name. And you know what? I'm so cool with that, man. Because guess what? Why give light to something that doesn't have light? Like, it's already dark. Leave it alone. Let it be. God bless. You got to.
Hopefully they change, maybe that.
Oh, hey, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully they get it, because dude, I didn't have someone listen, I changed on my own. Okay. I didn't have someone blast me on social media. I didn't have someone, like, I did lose friends. I mean, I did a lot of piece of shit things and still was a piece of shit until I figured out that I had to change. Right. I will say what made me want to change was my wife. Okay. Hello, because she let me know, if you want me around, I'm not going to be around for this shit, and I had to make a choice. But how many people out there don't make a choice to change and they lose anything that is so valuable? Like something like is really good for you. You're going to fuck it all up because of selfishness, because you just don't realize that you need to change. And a lot of people, bro, like they don't get that. Like there's something about them that can't comprehend that they're the problem. And when somebody, Johnny, has had problems their whole life and they still think they're not the problem, God bless, man. But I'm thankful, bro. Like I'm very, not only for my wife, but the reptile game. The reptile game would be that'd be my very first push forward into wanting to become a better person was the reptile game.
And when you wake up, like I love, like, when I wake up, there's a reason to wake up, and they keep me in line. Reptiles, when I wake up, I have to do it. no choice. Like, I will make sure that I go and check everybody and make sure that everybody's good. It is my ultimate goal, and they keep me running. They keep my engine running for sure, you know?
It's funny, man. It's me and my wife laughed last night because we were in bed at like 9:30 and we're like, oh, just like, oh, this is great, you know, because we were burnt, man. You know, listen, we were at the house, you know, doing our thing, and I had my electrician come over, and all it was just like, you know, one of those things where it was like an all-day thing, and we forgot it was New Year's Eve, and we're like, dude, we're tired, you know what I mean? And this time last year, bro, and let's see, okay, yeah. So it's 5:00. Last year we went out. Last year I was like, hey, I got my boys who are DJing at this New Year's party. Let's go. We hooked up with my best man, who was the guy who was my best man at my wedding, and some other old friends. And you know, MJ went back to MJ days for a little bit, and I fucking partied, bro. My wife ended up leaving the after party at like 4 a.m. and she's like, do your thing. And she looked at me, she's like, just so you know, next year you might not be doing this. I'm like, I'm cool with it. I'm like, I was like, fuck it, I'll be home. And then sure enough, bro, I stumble home at like 8 a.m. fucked up, right? But then I realized there's like 3 clutches, like there's like all this shit that needs to be done. And for whatever reason, bro, like I went from like wanting to like thinking about how do I go to sleep to just I ain't going to sleep. I was like, dude, I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to fucking do this shit right now. And then my wife wakes up at 10 a.m. She's like, have you been to bed? I'm like, no. And I'm just like,
I'm sure there's tons of viewers right now that are reptile keepers that had the flu or had crazy sicknesses, and they still went up and had to do what they had to do. And that same here, I'll have like 104 fever, but that doesn't mean anything. My animals need to be taken care of.
They are what's number, and if they aren't what's number one to you, you shouldn't be keeping them. Like if they don't keep you out of bed, if they don't let you want to just be lazy, like, dude, I love being lazy. Don't get me wrong. There's times where I just want to just chill, right?
Yeah.
And my wife loves to chill too. She's by far lazy. She fucking works out, she grinds, but my wife loves her chill time. So when we have
gotta have your chill.
But ask my wife how many times when we just snuggle down, we get into our chill time, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot, and I have to get up and go to the trap. Next thing you know, I'm in the trap for like 2 hours, and like that, like if that is not happening to you, then you are really not about this shit. You know, this shit is not. There's no checking in and checking out, bro. There's really not. And like you said, God bless you were, you know, as much as I would love for you to go to Tinley March, you're like, bro, I can't. There's breeding going on. God bless. Yeah. Hello. Like, it's not like, and that makes sense. Like it's like, you know, it's, and you know how delicate it is, you know?
Yeah. With skinks, where like with the geckos, it's a little different. You kind of put a pair together and they kind of go from there. But with these guys, you have a short window, and literally in March is right when I'm breeding most of my skinks. So, you know, I would love to, I want to go to Tinley, but I think, you know, making sure I'm here is important too. So,
yeah, I mean, and I'm not trying to steer any way from March Tinley. March Tinley is still fun, but October Tinley is the Tinley. That's like,
yeah, a lot of people have their productions, you know, that's
production, best weather. It's all around the best Tinley for sure.
Yeah.
But March is a good time too, man. Because here's the thing, Tinley brings a lot of Canadians, man, and I got a lot of cool, sick ass Canadian homies that come down for Tinley, and they don't give a shit how cold it is, man. They're used to all that crap. They don't give a fuck, man. And I do want to say, with you going into 2020, oh no, we're here. What the fuck am I talking about? Jesus, we're here.
What an ultimate goal, though. That, you know, this is a goal set for me, is that I'm on this show in the first of the year. It's a step forward, and I think.
But listen, and I will say how much the stars align with me and this guy. This guy really wanted to put himself out there. That was when I met him. He's like, MJ, I love your shit. Because of what you do, I want to put myself out there more. And I'm like, dude, for sure. Fuck yeah. Instantly throughout the night, I'm like, I want to get, because, you know, we started talking about his projects, and I started looking at his stuff, and I was like, dude, I would love to get you on the show. And, you know, I was like, man, I'm pretty booked out till the end of January, February, but I was like, I want to get this guy on the show. But I love that he wanted to go into 2023 with the energy of wanting to put himself out there, right? I was able to swing some shit around and get Brian Susan on for Christmas, because I originally wanted him on for New Year's, but I got him on for Christmas, and I was able to slot open for you to come on for this, which check this out. Who's Thursday night? Do you know who I'm bringing on Thursday night?
Me, this Thursday?
Bro, come on. You don't know who I'm bringing on this Thursday night?
Me? Oh,
what? Me?
On the spot.
You're not coming
on.
on.
Gary.
Thank you. What the
Gary,
hell?
I'm sorry. I drew a blank. I'm like, wait.
I was like,
I'm horrible with pressure.
I
I'm
was
horrible.
like, you're a little cocky there, buddy. I was like, yeah.
I drew a blank.
I like
Gary,
you, buddy, but dude, Thursday nights are like Raw, Monday Night Raw. Like it's like Monday pay-per-view, bro. So you need to chill, all right? I'm just kidding. Dude, Gary, dude, you know it's been over 2 years, okay, since I originally asked Gary to come on my show. Mind you, and I know now that I know, God bless Gary. Gary loves Desiree. He's a big Desiree fan. He's obviously a big Forrest fan. I'm
a big fan of them too. I've always watched a lot. It's with Brian when he used to go over there. I used to always watch his videos. You know, I love reptiles. So seeing Forrest, you see like certain niches that guys enjoy and like, and seeing Forrest, like I loved that he was very passionate about certain projects, and I watched his videos all the time when Brian used to go over there.
You understand why I love being friends with people like Marshall Mendez, Bill Stiegel, Gary Shavino, Ed Marino. Like these are people that Forrest glorified, okay? But my very first nicher, my very first like homie that I looked up to who had the most niche stuff was Forrest. And that's it. I wasn't close to Gary at all. I was intimidated by Gary, I'm not gonna lie. Even Bill, I don't even think Bill didn't even talk to me until and I hate to put you on blast, Bill, but Bill didn't even actually responded to a message to me until Forrest passed away and I was selling Zoo Dream shirts. And he's like, hey, how much for a shirt? And then I sold him one. And then we kind of became friends with that. But Forrest was good friends with all. I felt so disconnected to all the people that Forrest looked up to. But I had Forrest, dude, me and Forrest talked all the time on the phone, bro. Forrest, I would just listen to Forrest. Like I like to talk. So if you ever see me in a position where I'm not the one talking and the other person's talking, then this is somebody I really love and I want to listen to.
Right, passionate about it.
Passionate. And I would just let Forrest go off. And God damn it, I couldn't tell you, at least every conversation was either Gary Shavino brought up, Marshall Mendez, Bill Stiegel, Eugene Bassett, all these like legendary names that like back then I was like, who are I obviously I knew who Gary and stuff was, but like all these names that are in my contacts now. Like I talk to these people now. You know what I mean?
Great people in your corner, man.
Dude, it's the best.
And Gary's a riot, man. He's funny. He's too funny.
Gary just makes you feel good, man. Like Gary,
he's helped me out. He's really kind of took me under his wing, and he's making me realize the life of adulthood, I guess is the word, and doing the right things for yourself, and it's important, So I appreciate that he's willing to help.
Yeah, I haven't learned this lesson in a long time, but back when I used to make mixes a lot, I used to have certain people who would influence me to want to make certain mixes and do mixes back in my DJ days, right? And Gary, me and Gary, we've been vibing lately, I sent him this DJ named James Hype, and this fool just loves him. And I know his tech house energy, and I'm like, hey, Gary, I'm gonna make you a mix, Gary. And I'm not gonna lie, the mix that I made for my professor, because I train at a jiu-jitsu gym.
Okay.
And my professor loves my music. So he's like, hey, bro, make me a mix once a month. You train here for free. I'm like, okay.
What?
Yeah. So I make him a mix once a month. I train for free. But I gotta say the most recent mix that I made, okay, the Eye of the Unicorn Volume 2, the winter mix, it was mainly influenced because how much Gary's been loving the music that I've been introducing him to, and he's been doing his thing, right? But Gary did not like my mix.
And he'll tell you too.
Okay,
I can only imagine how he said it too.
No, because he's like, hey MJ, because listen, this is another thing too, right? I sent it to him when it first dropped, right when it uploaded. Gary is one of the first people to get it, which I believe was on a Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, yes. I'm like, all right, Gary. And Gary's like, thanks, MJ. I'm gonna listen to this on my workout, right? And I'm not pressing. I'm like, hey, what's up? But next thing you know, it's Monday. Still nothing. I haven't heard anything. I'm getting a lot of results from other people, but haven't heard shit from Gary. And I'm like, dude, Gary, and I know Gary's busy. I know Gary gets but I know he works out. I know Gary works out every single day. I know no matter how busy Gary is, he works out. Okay. So I think it just took him a couple days. Maybe it took him a couple listens before he could get this analysis on my mix, but he really meant it. And he told me the first 15 minutes were like terrible, or I'm sorry if what was it, Gary? But you just said it wasn't your cup of tea. it wasn't your cup of tea, but after 15 minutes, it really started picking up and it got to his momentum. And like, I'm going to be honest right now on the live, that did crush me a little bit, but it also reminded me why you should only make mixes for yourself. I made a mix for Gary and I came up short. I'm sorry, Gary.
Hey, but you could always do it again, you know.
I'm never doing it again. I am, mark my words, I'm never making a Gary Schiavino mix ever again.
Maybe you should make like a monotoned how to breed carpondros. You might like that one.
No, I'm just going to take it for what it is. I rather getting anything from Gary, I'm taking. I'm a ship. You know what I mean? I love Gary, man. But if you want to talk about somebody you hang out with and your sides hurt when you go to sleep, that's Gary. Like I laugh so hard, and we had shit. How many hours did we spend, Gary, in the car together through all the traveling and stuff back and forth? And man, it's just a non-stop fucking laugh party with Gary. But it's real raw comedy. It's like Dane Cook. It's Dane Cook before you knew Dane Cook was fake. It was like real, like good comedy. Like holy shit, you know, just
he gets home. Me too. You sometimes think he's like serious, and then he's not. He's usually joking.
Dude, back to the game plan with what is going on with you, because like I said, you've been low key, right? Let's take things for right now.
Earn my stripes type guy. That's how I am. I don't know why.
Well, I don't know what kind of stripe you want to consider this, but if you got a leather jacket, I'm gonna send you a patch. I want to send you a pin for your hat, but I'll definitely send you a patch, buddy. A nice ass striped patch, because this is a huge step as far as putting yourself out there. Okay. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just saying, like, you're doing it. Like, you did it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So as of right now, this Instagram that we're looking at, you consider this more of a private page than an actual business page, obviously, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix where it's like, you know, people message me and we go from there type thing. But I don't push the sales situation. I don't really show sales. I'm just kind of like, here, this is what I'm producing. You know, people will message me and I'll help them in the direction they would like. But yeah, it's kind of my thing, is just kind of enjoyment and saying, hey, this is it, you know, and being, you know, I don't like to be like a show off type person, but I just try to be more relevant. And it's like, here, this is kind of what I'm up to, what I'm doing. And you know, just there, you know, I guess.
Well, I mean, look, listen, I can't even tell you. And the only reason why I didn't share the question is because they didn't send a super chat, but there was at least 4 people who asked if you're selling stuff, right? So let's just say, you know, I'm not saying, oh God, after this podcast, 1 million people are hitting you up, but let's just say halfway through the year, the inquiries are there. Like, let's just say it's time. What are we doing? Are we going to turn this page into the business page? Are you going to do your own separate thing? Let's create some social media goals for you right now. Is what I want to do.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's more creating structure for myself, and I've gotten to that point, and then it is breaking off into taking it even more serious for sure. Yeah, I definitely would like to do that. I'm there, you know, I already kind of have like a business structure, but I would like to better myself for sure. But you know, I'm still just kind of building the product itself and then, you know, kind of pushing it even further. But yeah, I would like to maybe start like a website or something like that. But you know, it's to me, it's like reptiles first. That's how I look at it. You know, they're my ultimate, you know, that's what I'm here for. You know, we've talked about this at the dinner where, you know, there's something in your life that really happens bad and it changes you. And we've talked about this where I've worked at, you know, before this, I had a day job and I was into the cancer field and research at Sloan Kettering. And, you know, I seen things that, you know, were horrible, you know, and I would go home being miserable, you know, getting attachment to people and watching them lose their lives. So it took a turn, and I said to myself, like, hey, like you can lose your life tomorrow, so let's have some fun and really enjoy it. And I kind of literally I quit that job making really good money and said I want to take this full on, and it's gone into that direction. You know, obviously I have another job too, but you know, it's more based off, you know, breeding reptiles and doing what I love and then helping others, because you know, you don't know what they're going through. So if I can, you know, get them something, you know, that helps them mentally, you know, because reptiles are amazing. You know, that's the ultimate goal, I guess, is to be humble. You know, I'm not here to make, you know, I don't want to make millions. I just want to have fun. And, you know, the money's there. It keeps my passion alive. And that's all I really, really push for sure.
God bless that trendy song of that sick ass black kid in Africa. it's like, because,
He's dancing around and
let there be sunshine, let there be sunshine. But if you really want to listen to the very first lyric to that song, it's like, I need to be humble because tomorrow I might fall on my face. And that is like, and like, take it however you want, but like, you could fall on your face, jump, like falling off the building. You could fall on your face. You could fall on your face and die, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it could be all over tomorrow.
Yep. And
So,
we talked about this where it was just a life change. Just like we were in that moment where it was like, well, now it's time to turn around and go in the right direction, and do what I love. So.
And that's why it's like, you can't really get caught up into other people's issues.
Yep. Stay in my lane.
And I had, here's the thing. Now that I look at it, when I was at my worst, like, nobody was trying to get caught into my issues. Not even my own family. Like, I was kind of like I was always good to have at least that one family member who hung on to me. But man, I did things to where, like, yo, go figure your shit out type of thing. Right. But that's for the person to figure. Like, it's crazy. All I got to say is there's a lot of people out there who are surrounded by really awesome love, like that type of shit where you don't have to be in the position where you don't question what love is like, and at the end of the day, like, it's selfish to say, but other people's problems isn't really your problem unless it's within your circle, right? Like, I hate to see my friends fail, or I don't ever see any of my friends down. And what sucks to say, man, is like, I'm never the one having to receive a phone call from somebody who's telling me like, hey, I'm down bad. And I don't know if that's, I don't know what to say with that. I don't know if they don't come to me, but I do know that I could rely on a lot of people to where if I'm in a bad position where I don't feel good or something, I have so many people there to help me get through whatever I need to get through. And I always want to be there for people, man. Like, it's very important to let people know that you're there for them, because so many people go through so many different things in life, and some people don't have it.
Yep. Especially at the cancer hospital I worked at, I seen it all, and it was like a real eye opener for me. Yeah, for sure. So
it's just stuff to just really consider. You know what I mean? But listen, at the end of the day, this is why I have blinders on, bro. It's crazy, as you know. Like, I see what things that are thrown into my face, but for the most part, like, I'm so concentrated on what's relevant. Like, what's in front of me is relevant, and then here's the side noise. You have the side noise, like the peanut gallery, which if here's the thing. As soon as you pay attention to the peanut gallery, you go down a rabbit worm. Like, you go down a rabbit hole. And then now what's relevant is now focused on something irrelevant. And now you're like, there's nothing that should keep you off track is what I'm saying.
And that's what with the reptile, with reptiles is like, I kind of stay in my lane. Like, I have my own fun in a sense, and I enjoy that. And then I share and show others. And, even here is great, the platform to kind of have information and kind of be out there. And that's another thing I wanted to be out on this platform is to help others if I could somehow. But, in the end, I'm not here to make millions. I really do just want to do what I love. And it's a lot of fun, man, especially like the geckos, creating some different, patterns and colors, and it's fun.
What's crazy as hell, Johnny, is after Gary introduced me to you, and after Gary laid out who he knew, I was like, let me rewind that. Gary knew Gary knew you and I were going to click. Like, Gary's like, MJ, you're going to meet this guy. He supports you. And I think like, I know you and him are going to click. And I was like, perfect. Right. So things like that are always meant to establish, and no matter what you're doing, but it's what you do with it. I don't even know where I was going to go with that. God damn it. I was going to go somewhere else with that. What were we talking about right before that? This happens once an episode. It's a good episode if I forget where I'm going at least once. I figured out. I got it. Yes. And by the way, I will want to say shout out to your mom, Joanne. Is it Joanna or Joanne?
Oh, she's on. Oh, that's my mom. Yeah.
Mom, I wish I
found a way to comment. Look at that.
I wish I could give your mom a hug right now. I feel like it's something with the East Coast thing where like people always think I'm from East Coast. Like I wish I could give your mom a hug right now because how well she raised you. But going back to what I was saying, Gary introduced me to you. He told me you guys are going to click, and we clicked, right? But right after that, right after I started mentioning your name to other gecko and the lizard game, bro, like John from Sim Container knew who you were right away, right? And I was like, dude, holy shit, like this guy, under the radar, under the radar, but you are respected upon the biggest guys who are not under the radar. You know what I mean? You got people talking about how sick you are, who are literally the guys in the forefront. Like John is out there. John's probably the biggest monitor guy, other than he's just up there with a lot of people out there in this country. You know what I mean?
Just a good, level-headed guy, man. He's a great dude.
Very
helpful.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was saying he's very helpful, and he's really good. He's there for you, you know.
But it's just like, everyone has their lane. What I'm trying to say is you're respected upon your lane, John. Like people are recognizing what it is that you're doing and that you're really good at. That's your lane. I feel like I always stay in my lane. On this podcast, right? Like everything I've done has been organic, Johnny.
Yep.
And
that's what I love about you is that you're real, and I think that's so important.
It's important that anything that anybody does is do it organically.
Yeah. Don't
a coattail, or is it tailcoat, or whatever that fucking term is, where when you're riding that coattail and you're just like you're waiting for a handout. Like handouts don't come to you, man. Like that, those handouts, even if they come, there's something behind them. You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, it's just man. But that's why it's like, for instance, not everyone can understand why you do what you do. Like think about non-reptile people.
Oh, it's
like
Brian Suzanne talked about this, where the funny thing is, sometimes I don't mind it because like the people you talk to, they go, what? And then they start they want to hear more. And it's like, it's not bad. It's kind of sometimes fun.
But what about the Karen or the Bob Smith in the conversation who's like, grow. And no matter how much you're explaining, no, don't show me a picture. And it's like, whoa, relax. Like, what are you like? It's like
it's going to jump out at them or something.
But bro, it's the same way with like relating passion to passion. Some people don't have the kind of passion and excitement that you have to where it's too much for them. Like, it's like, well, what, you know what I mean? Like, you recognize everything that I have. Like you gave me praise for it, which made me respect why I fucking should just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Your lights should be going out soon too, right? Usually it goes out.
What time is it? No, we got 6 o'clock. We got
all right.
Yeah. Don't ever disrespect. Johnny, don't disrespect me like that again. Now you made me look like a bad keeper in front of fucking 67. I'm just kidding. No, you're good. No.
You're good.
Okay, hold on. I'm glad you brought that up though, because I do want to know the importance of light cycling and how you implement light cycling. Is it a certain hour throughout the year, or is it just the same thing all the time? How does the light cycle work for all the reptiles? I want to say
it's a seasonal change. I don't believe just in the light cycle. I believe in I go by micro managing and macro managing. So that's how I put into my program. So meaning like on the macro scheme of things, what's going on the outside of the room, and micro managing on the inside, going on what's inside the cage. So it's not just light cycles, it's temperature changes. Again, like I believe strongly how important cold temperatures are to certain species. Obviously animals that are closer to the equator, it's a little different, but I believe how important, like I love, even though it's stressful, I love that my animals are in a brumation right now. Why? Because it's its own natural preserver. You know, obviously, like back to the steak thing I use, or some type of meat that you put in the freezer, it's being preserved, it's staying fresh, so that when you defrost it, it's still almost the same as it was when you just put it in about maybe a couple months ago. And it's the same thing here, is that's just the important part of it too. So my light cycles kind of go with, the outside. So I kind of follow, what's going on the outside. So as winter starts to approach, we start to cut the hours. And I do believe, yes, light cycle is pretty important. Like I'll do, like my changes will be as, oh, sorry, I have a cat in here. It got me a little scared there.
What kind of cat? What kind of cat?
I don't know. It was a kitten we found out.
Dude, honestly, like
no, I'm not bringing in like stray cats to start to breed.
This is America. This is America. Okay, this is America. where majority
we found a kitten outside and we felt bad for it, so we got it spayed and brought it in, and it kind of has like the back area here, so it just made like a funky sound in the corner.
This is, yeah, I bet it is making a funky sound. Dude, Johnny, this is America, bro. A majority of cat keepers in this country just found it outside, bro. Like, that's fucking. And dude,
So
and those are like outdoor cats that are just killing every bird and like, God,
yeah, so
dang, like,
we thought it was a good idea to bring it in the house, you know, like don't eat the birds, hang out in the house.
but like, you know, like it's like, and I don't try to get too caught into this because like I love cats. I mean, I should take that back. I love big cats. Like I love a big cat. But for the most part, as a kid, I didn't like cats, man. I did some fucked up things.
I'm not a cat person. We actually have dogs. I have a French bulldog.
Yeah.
And like my mom kind of felt bad, so she, you know, brought it in. But so yeah, go back to light cycle. I like to micromanage and macro manage. So meaning like we're bringing down ambience for some of the species I work with, including Rhacodactylus. I believe that like Chihuahua, I think it's so important to get them cool. I mean, I bring them down to the low 60s because what happens is, again, back to the computer system is when we're keeping them too warm, we're overdriving that system. We're burning them out. Their metabolism's moving at such high rate. And with Chihuahua is that, you know, they have eggs that are, you know, very calcified. So to me, I much rather have a 2 to 3 clutch on my Chihuahua than a 4 to 5 clutch. And usually you can micromanage that by putting your temperatures lower and starting to decrease than keeping them so high just to get a couple extra eggs, because your animal can really have serious deficiencies and calcium problems. But, you know, I think it's important to reduce, we slowly reduce that light cycle. I mean, like towards right when I'm about to put, there they go. Look, there's your lights. When I start to slowly bring them down, as the temperatures are going, I start to bring the light cycle even shorter and shorter. And it's like this rhythm I kind of do, and I fine tune it, and you kind of watch them. So like the animals, once you start to bring those temperatures down, you'll see them start to kind of shut their system down, is that they're not popping out to bask anymore. They're starting to settle in. Obviously also with the skinks, I like to clean their gut out, probably like 2 weeks. I don't really feed them to kind of clean their system out, because you don't want them going into brumation with the belly full. That'd be a big problem. But so yes, I believe in light cycles. You know, with certain species I work with, I think it's important. And, you know, we're slowly decreasing temperatures. You know, I think it's really important to slow their, I mean, if you look at it, like, for instance, like up in the Northeast, you know, if you looked at our raccoons, they are absolutely huge compared to a raccoon in South Florida. And why is that? Is because the system is in overdrive, but as the temperatures decrease, they start to preserve themselves. Their metabolism starts to slow down. But as that raccoon that's smaller in Florida, their system is in overdrive. Their metabolism's moving nonstop. And if you notice, if anybody heads down to South Florida, their raccoons are much smaller than some of the big boys that are up here, because they're eating all that food, and then their system's in overdrive. They fatten up and everything slows down, and they're preserved, just like putting a steak in the freezer, you know. Right. And I think that that's an important part, is, you know, these animals are getting a break and being preserved. And light cycle and temperatures is pretty important, that I really enjoy. I think it really benefits in the program here.
And I can't blame anybody for this, but this is why I'm so like, man, I'm forever a ball python guy. I gotta say, ball python game is what brought me to everything. But goddamn, did the ball python habits or practices that I have weren't the way at all. Like oh my God, because like, dude, I'm the person where, man, and this has happened to me a lot in life. I still haven't learned, but I'm the person where if whoever I look up to at the time tells me how to do certain things, I just do that and I don't give a fuck. That's all I did, right? So I took some pieces of advice in the very beginning with ball pythons, as far as feeding every week, no matter what. Like, just feed it, feed, no matter what it is, right? And like, I guess, yeah, there's people out there who feed every week, no matter how old the ball python is. But really, that is so unnecessary. Like that, like, dude, that is, you're not only wasting money, okay, but you're wasting fucking time. You're wasting breeding opportunities by feeding your animal so much. Like, the overfeeding thing is such a fucking problem, but I never knew that until I started getting into other species. But I carried those habits into these new species for like 2 years. So now, like, bro, like, think about it. I had chondros I was feeding once a week for like the first 2 years of their life. Like, whoa, that's like, and mind you, it handled it, but still, like, if I would have kept going that rate, that route leads to so many terrible things, right? But it's just like I try to always never overlook something now, like because you never know what it is small that you can change that could have a whole game-changing experience for not only the animal but for you. Like
even our conversation here, could someone be watching and going, "Oh wow, that's a good idea. That's a good point." Or if you're whatever we're talking about, it's important to get it out there.
Like the one thing I'm glad no one's like you, because there are people out there, as much as they hate, they love watching me and they like to criticize what I say, right? The one thing that I've never had pushback on, bro, and I'm waiting, like, go ahead and try to argue this, was anybody out there who thinks once a week water changes is okay for their snakes. Like you need to tell me a good
I
week.
do every other day for everything, man.
Oh, I mean, but that's why I love the gecko, the lizard community is like that, bro. Fresh water is a mandatory thing with these animals, with these lizards, right? Or with these, I'm just saying, like, it's something that you guys care about. Like, you pay attention to it. And why not? What about you as a human? What if you rolled over in bed, you took a sip out of water that you poured 7 days ago? That's disgusting. What do you think? And like, what do you think that animal's going through? You know what I mean? And so that's why you should, like, the whole, 101s or this is the standard. No, the standard should be whatever the standard is high to you, and you elevate from there. That's it.
No, I love it, man. It's true though. It's very true. But I don't know, man. It's just so much fun. Like, it's funny, like, you were bringing up John and Gary, like when they came over and saw my animals, they saw the passion in me. They even said it. They were like, and I loved it. And it happened back when I went to them. It's just like, when you start to talk about your animals, you get so passionate about it and you could see it. And when I would go to John's house, it would be the same thing, or Gary's house. You can see the passion they have for their animals.
Oh my God, bro.
I know you see it because you go to people.
Oh, I was so pissed. Bro, I went to Gary's house on a time schedule. You know how much that pisses me off? Like, bro, this guy, he made me 2 delicious old fashions the Gary way, the GS way. And he's like, "Hey, bud, I wish we could just hang out here and I could just keep making you freaking old fashions." I'm like, God damn. Like, because, Gary, like, he could just go on and on about all the stuff that he keeps. And Gary keeps amazing, like, rare shit. And they're like the most prime, like, condition, like, they are what they should be. And he will teach you a thing, even if you don't know about the species. Well, guess what? You're going to learn. And Gary will tell you everything about it. So, man, dude, if you would have asked me at the beginning of, or whatever, anytime before the winter of last year, if I was going to go to GS's house, I would have been like, what? No way. There's no way. And I can't believe I actually had the opportunity to go to his house.
I didn't know, because I didn't know you were going. The next day you went. I was like, oh, wow.
Dude, it was a beautiful, gorgeous home. His wife is amazing.
Yeah.
Just such a nice area. I was geeked out with his backyard, and I was just like, dude, can we why don't we have a trap fest here? But like, I'm just saying, man, like, this is okay. So Gary, right? Gary Shavino, Justin Kabelka, Marshall Mendez, Bill Stiegel. These are all places I've been at where I can easily see myself living at other than California, because of just the peace. There's a peace of mind I feel at all these places. I can't really explain it.
Jersey's weird too. Like, you go one section, it's like flat land with like nice ocean, and then you kind of go up north and it's like mountainous area. It's such a small state,
And that's why I love where I live, because I live like, you come to where I live and there's mountains and shit like that, but then in 20 minutes or less, we're at the beach. You know what I mean? Or we're in downtown, or we're in the freaking, we're in the snow, or like whatever it is. I mean, the snow's not 24/7 around here, but I'm just saying, like, there's so many things that you could go do no matter what time of the year it is, and it's pretty awesome. Now, listen, I have a wrap-up question before we get some hot seat questions, Johnny. Shinglebacks. What's your relationship to shinglebacks? Because we did have a little conversation about shinglebacks. Is that a future project you're maybe looking to get into? Tell me what it is about the shinglebacks.
Yeah, I mean, I would eventually 100% would love to get into them. Some of them are being established here. A good friend of mine, Dave Sutton, is kind of working with them, and our goal is to just establish. I mean, hopefully I can find some funds to get some of those, but I just think they're like the ultimate pet for sure. They're amazing. They don't produce a lot, so it's not like it's we're money grabbing here, but I believe that if we can establish some, I think there's a future there. I mean, they are just amazing. That, you know, the way they look at you, the way they look physical wise, you know, they're just honestly, they're great species for sure.
Okay, you're saying cooler than these is what you're saying.
Ooh, that's a close one.
I mean, I'm just saying, buddy, because you rocked my world, buddy, with these. That's all I got to say.
I feel like there's certain species in shinglebacks that could be a little easier to breed too. It's possible than some of the blotched, but the blotched, you know, they're amazing, man. I think there's a lot. There's that feeling too, because they were my ultimate goal to produce. Because there's a lot of people that say like it's very hard, almost impossible, especially indoors. It's almost impossible. And I was able to do something. I think I want to say there's maybe 3 or 4 that have bred them in the United States. I know Phil Tremper. That's a guy you should get on here, man. That guy Phil Tremper. There's a lot of information.
You got to plug me with these names. Anybody, guy, listen.
A lot of people on here know about Phil. So,
but here's the thing. No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. Like, guys, I just started this segment like 4 months ago. I need any sick ass lizard plug I could possibly get.
You know, you should get. You know, you should get, because I believe he's doing a really good job of establishment. And we talked went during breeding season. You had his partner on here, Manny from Tiki's Geckos.
Oh, oh, okay, his buddy. So you want Dave and Manny, or just Manny?
I mean, if you get them all, that'd be great. I would love to hear from a lot of them. But you know, Manny's been really good with establishing northern blue tongues.
Okay, I'm glad you told me that.
Yeah. Oh, I know you had David on here recently.
Yeah. But like Dave is always on all the podcasts that represents Tiki Geckos. I don't know why nobody really pushes for Manny. I'm about to push for Manny.
Manny's he should be breeding soon, so maybe it's a good time to get him on with the north. You
cool with Manny?
Yeah, I like Manny, man. He's good.
Why don't you facilitate that for me? Why don't you throw in a good word and see what he says? That'd be sick. Right. I like that.
Yeah, he's done a good job with the Northerns. You know, I know there's a guy in Florida too, Ron Kudo, has established Northerns a long time ago. You know, breeding some really nice, colorful Northerns. So, and then there's also Ray Gerge down there in Florida. There's a lot of guys that laid down the pathway for Northerns for sure.
I lied about that being the wrap-up question. I have another wrap-up question for you.
Oh.
I'm not even gonna lie, man. You, as much as I love the energy and I want to say you influence me, man. Like, honestly, the way you showed me respect influences me to keep going. But what influences me is somebody with a drive like you, somebody with a passion, the vision, also nonstop grinds. You have a job. You're not a full-time reptile keeper. Is that right? Like, you have something that you have a backup plan to keep this something at one point, right? Like that's a fact.
Eventually I have the plans of thinking about doing that, but we're not there yet. You know, I'm not. I like more the security, you know, keep the job, but eventually for sure.
What needs to happen for you to really look at this and say it's time?
Oh man, that one's a tough one. I would say,
come on, Mom. That's a good one, Mom. I bet Mom wants to know.
She probably said I could do it now and be.
I bet. Mom knows best.
I believe I can say, you know what, F this. I want to do this full time, but I'm just not totally there. I could probably swing it. But I want to establish more. And I have big plans with facilities, and you know, with the skinks, I want to have like a facility with like, you know, beautiful open pits, really big cages, and like skylight windows to almost act like a greenhouse, so they're getting almost like a little bit of natural basking. So,
Mama, there you go. Your mom is in no rush to watch her boy grow.
Yeah,
loving it, man. And this is one thing where, man, I got people. I will say the people who I look up to the most out of the youngest have really good fucking parents that back them up. That's the truth. Yeah. And like I love my parents. They always back me up, but they were never, you know, I went through a crazy stage in my life where my parent, like there was a lot of unstableness, right? And whatever, I figured out my mom and dad are like, I love them to death and we're at, but there's some people out there who've always had stability. There's people out there who's always had parents to back them up. And when I see somebody who's always had that's a good person, I love that, because I really feel like, Johnny, if I always had stability, I don't think I would be such a good person. I feel like if I was that brat, I feel like I'm somebody who would probably take advantage of wanting to be spoiled at home and not want to grow. I really do. That's why I'm happy the way. I mean, I'm not like it was tough what I went through. My mom and dad's divorce at 14 really fucked me up. It was
my parents were divorced at a younger age too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it really put me in a confused spot, but it was really hard because my mom and dad were both rough. And I don't want to say I had no, because I always had my dad, but I had no stability of like who I wanted to be in life. And I was like, I had no standards, bro, like no standards whatsoever.
There was a moment in my life where I was like, where do I go? What do I do in direction wise? Because my dad, on the other hand, is very like old school, like go get the 9 to 5.
Yeah,
but,
shut up. Put in the work, son. So the working man is the real gangster.
But I found that in the middle, like I do the reptiles, and then I have that somewhat secure job. But
yeah, if you do what you love, Johnny, you ain't never got to work a day in your life.
Oh, I'm so happy. And again, like I wouldn't be here without people like you and people that buy from me. I wouldn't be where I'm at. So again, like I thank everyone that supports me. It's what's keeping me, alive. And again, I was like back to the gecko situation. It's like, to me, like I don't see a lot of. I know there's people that think there's competitors, but especially the Rhacs species is like. For me, there's so much variant that like it's like walking into a candy store. Like you're not going to just pick one candy. You want another piece of candy, and you want a little bit of this and a little bit of that flavor. And I think that's what's happening in the gecko world is people are going to want different flavors. So and whatever goes around comes around. I've noticed that like when someone I bought this from that person, eventually they're going to want to come over here too. And I think the community is up and up from here.
And the community will always back each other. Now I can tell you that, like, listen, because of social media, real people aren't scared to expose real shit. And if you're out there, somebody who continuously to take advantage of people or not be that right example for this industry, you will eventually be exposed. You will eventually not want to be here. And that's one thing I am happy about social media is it puts the pressure on people, bro. It really does. It like there's a spotlight on you now. And now there's a spotlight. And good. Should be.
Nah, it's good. It's a driver. It keeps you going. You got to put in the work ultimately. And it's fun. I enjoy it,
I enjoyed it well, man. I enjoyed this podcast. 2 hours went by very fast, my guy. I got to say, this was...
You know what it is? I was kind of a little nervous because I don't come out like I'm a social media guy and like I'm not a talker. But you made me feel comfortable, and I actually like I didn't really. I thought I would sit here and stutter and but I'm comfortable. So
I understand that there's possibly people out there who have podcasts that could make you stutter because they fucking goddamn. Hey, listen. By the way, Mama Joanne, I will say. At one point, I just moved into a new home, so give me a little bit, but I will rescue a cat for Mama Joanne at one point. I'm going to rescue a cat, and I'm going to take the best care of it just because that's what good people do. Are you ready for these hot seat questions, my man?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, guys. Listen, I don't have to, not that I was complaining, but I definitely don't need to say anything about the likes because the likes are up. I could tell you that. Shout out to the 67 likes right now. But hot seat questions, Johnny, coming in hot. Are you ready for these 2023 hot seat questions?
Oh, they're totally different.
I don't want to say totally, but they're 2023, bro.
All right. Let's go.
Where are they? Oh, wait, hold on. We had a problem.
That's good.
We're good.
I'm horrible under pressure. So.
Hot seat questions coming hot for Johnny Rhacs. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Egg cut or no cut?
Egg. I would say egg cut. Depends. I say experience.
Whoa. It's either yes or no, sir.
Yes. Experience. Yes.
Under what circumstances?
I say experience. That I feel that if you know what you're doing and you've done it before, it's very much possible. If you understand. I wouldn't tell any newbie, hey, go cut it. Like it's just not, even though you have to do it at some point, but
One example of the experience that you could tell us why you should cut an egg.
That's gonna get me in trouble. I am not doing that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Okay. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. How about this?
Get me in trouble.
Favorite lychee diet.
I use Pangea fruits and insects.
Favorite blotched blue tongue skink. Did I say that right? Blotched blue tongue or?
There's 3 different species. There's a lowlands, a highlands, and a Tasmanian form, which is an island form of blotched. So I would say my favorite's the highland form because it's just beautiful orange kind of coloration.
So what's the ideal diet for those?
I do a mix protein, I do bugs and some mice. I like quail, small quail. And then I do seasonal changes. So I start off with protein when they wake up. And then I kind of slip into deep summer. I'll start to use frozen vegetables, and I use a Missouri mixed diet that I soak, a omnivore diet, and I use that as a platform. And then I add a lot of fruits and vegetables. I do seasonal change. I think it's pretty important.
Nice. To miss any blue tongue skink, or to never miss a blue tongue skink.
I say miss blue tongue skink's good. Not often, but missed for sure.
Yay imports or boo imports?
I would say imports are good.
What's one reptile you would import to your collection, no matter what it is, anywhere around the world? What would it be?
It would probably be a shingleback for sure.
Yeah.
Somehow.
You're shady. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, how about this? If it came down to you saying never import this reptile ever again, leave it alone, what would it be?
It would be any animal that doesn't do good in captivity. Why take the chance?
Favorite reptile show in the United States?
Tinley.
Favorite reptile at a reptile show that you like to see?
Favorite person?
Yeah, the animal. Like if you're at a show, what is it that you want to go see? What's the one thing you're I got to see this if it's there?
It's so weird. In person, I love blackheads for some reason. Pythons. I know.
Blackheads. Oh,
yeah.
My bad. I was thinking.
I just think they're so cool. It's their heads are dipped in paint, and it's how their system works in the wild is just so cool. So seeing them out in a display is pretty cool for me.
Yay chondros or boo chondros?
Yay chondros. Favorite
chondro breeder of all time?
Oh, come on, Gary. Gotta say Gary.
I mean, I would hope so. How about this? Favorite non-kept species of any lizard? What's one species of reptile that that is you can't say shinglebacks, okay? I get it.
No. I know it. I know it for a fact, and I would love to get my hands on them because they're not easy to breed. The Taliqua multifasciata, which is the Centralian blue tongue skink, I would absolutely love to work with them.
Multifasciata. Is that the region? What is that? What does multifasciata mean?
It means many bands, many yeah, they're very banded, they're. So if you were to look it up, I wish you could on here and show people because they're amazing.
I can't. Don't test my game like that. Don't ever say that, bro. Can you spell it? If you for sure need to spell it.
Just put in Centralian skink.
I can't even spell Centralian. What the fuck is what?
Like central and then IAN.
Is that a real word?
Yeah.
Oh, here it is. Shows how degenerate I am. Jesus Christ. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Whoa, this is sick.
The orange one, the top. Yeah, look at that thing, dude.
This is nuts too. Is she gravid? What the hell is that?
Yeah, right.
She's gravid, right? I'm assuming.
Wow. So I think there's a lot of mental. I think there's a lot of mental things of ways to breed these guys because they're very scared. They're always very scared. So I think they need a lot of comfortability.
Dude, this is like the sunset of.
They're bulldogs. They're the bulldogs of the skink game, in my opinion.
Oh, look! That's Lisa. Shout out to Lisa. She's very player.
See, girl. Bulldog.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
They're people now. They know.
Yeah, Lisa's definitely my people. Okay, here we go. Moving forward. Yay sports or boo sports?
Yay sports. Giants are in playoffs.
Giant. Nobody said anything about football, guy. Nobody said anything.
I know, but I just before the show, the Giants played and they were in the playoffs now.
I will say though, the Giants has a really shitty record of ever winning a championship. Am I right? It was what was it? Was it Strahan or when was the last time they won a championship?
I met Michael Strahan 2 times.
Am I right though? That was the last time there was.
Yeah, it was 2007 and 2010. I want to say, or 11-ish season.
What a time.
Yeah, high school.
Van Halen or Sammy Hagar?
Van Halen for sure.
Nirvana or Sublime?
Oh, you just did that.
It's a difficult one. That's a difficult
That's
one.
a sneaky one, man. I would say Sublime. I have to say Sublime.
Steak or fish?
Fish.
I was about to say, with your heartburn, you shouldn't say steak. But
I mean, and I use steak this whole show. I've used it towards reptiles. I should have said steak, but
favorite fillet of fish?
I like the little tuna steaks, man, for sure.
Ooh, damn, I'm hungry. Okay.
Oh, I'll fly to San Diego, man. I'll bring some tuna steaks.
Bro. No. Listen, we're in Baja. You know what? You know what fish we get here, buddy? You're good.
All right, I'll go there.
No, dude, customs will lock you up if you bring any kind of fish over. Don't do that.
Sure.
West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
I'll take East Coast for sure.
Favorite East Coast rapper or group of all time?
I like Biggie Smalls. And recently, Jack Harlow I've been liking. No, am I cut?
I'm just saying the KFC commercial really threw me off.
New Balance commercial too.
I am a Drewski fan, but he's just coming up. It's kind of like people hating that I got sponsors. Like, it's all, don't be hating on me, motherfucker. Like,
Biggie Smalls. I like Biggie Smalls.
I mean, Jack Harlow is not a Biggie Smalls though, man. You got to never say
Hell
that.
No.
Okay,
Hell
thank you. Little word association. First thing to come to mind: Italian.
Shrimp parm that gives you stomach aches.
Oh my god. Milk.
D's. Nuts. Sorry, Mom. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
She's out. She's out. She's like, oh my Lord. My mom, as my mom would say, Jesus criminy. All right. Cocoa.
Puffs.
Substrate.
Mulch.
First time gecko breeder.
Like name?
Just whatever. What comes to mind when I say first time gecko breeder?
Oh, research.
Social media.
Good.
Kingsnake.com.
Old.
Importers.
Do it right, man.
First time vending at a reptile show.
Teach the kids. Teach the kids. It's there for the kids.
A mom that loves you.
That's all I need.
Oh my dude. Any girl, you're engaged, aren't you?
No,
You're not? Okay, God bless any girl against that right there. I'm telling you right now. That's a son's mom in love. You can't compete with that. I love that. Oh my God. I'm gonna call my mom after that. I'm really am. Listen, Instagram trolls.
Keep them coming, man. They're good. They're good. Keep them coming.
This might be a tough one. Be ready. First thing to come to mind. You ready? Coolest reptile podcast in the world. Let's go. Ship it. Hey,
what a great way to start the show off, wearing a 2.0 2023.
And I'm going to need literally 2.0 your address again so I can send your mom one, because I'm sending mom. Mom is getting a t-shirt. So tell me what the info is after this. But, bro, I'm not going to lie. We just had shy of 70 people in this. And mind you, it's a holiday. A lot of people are traveling. But we had 70 people tapped in at one point for this episode, all wanting to tap in for you. What do you have to say to all your supporters out there, Johnny?
You know, I say just keep stepping forward. I use this saying a lot. Whenever it rains, there's sunshine to follow. So just keep following that path. And, I appreciate all the supporters, man. It's really without you guys, including you, MJ, I wouldn't be where I'm at. So it means a lot.
I will say this, and I know Gary will back me up, man, but you're easily somebody who's not hard to fucking represent. Like to back you up is very easy, Johnny. So I got to say, because how easygoing you are and because how well you are believed in your process, you have people like Gary Shavino and many others who really are here to watch you fucking blossom and do your thing, man. But dude, listen, the next round of Johnny Rhacs will be on a Thursday night. I can tell you that 110%. He's on that level. But I gotta say, Johnny, thank you so much. I cannot wait to tap in with you. Listen, I can't give you the exact date, but I know I'm gonna be in the East Coast before October Tinley. So I'll see you now. I'll see you before Tinley of October next year.
Hopefully I'll be in a new place and you can, I can show you everything. That'd be awesome.
I'll do the same thing if you promise me this. Tell your mom extra that you love her tonight, okay? Because to have your mom in the building like this is something that, like, it brings the kind of emotion to where I know I have that support from my family, and not a lot of people do, Johnny. I feel like we're lucky people. You and I are family, and even John, I'm sure Gary too. But the family orientation from the East Coast, you can't duplicate it. It's so like family's everything. So. Yeah. Thank you. You feel like family to me. Thank you so much, Johnny. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon, but that's a wrap for my boy, Johnny Rhacs. Ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night, bro. Listen, seriously, text me your mom. Text me your shipping info, your mom's shirt size. I'm hooking Mama Joanna up with the shirt. But have a good night, Johnny. I appreciate you, bro.
MJ, Happy New Year and keep reaching them goals, bro.
Oh, day by day, buddy. Hey, I'll see you at the top.
All right, man. Bye-bye.
Right. Whew. Thank you so much, everyone who tapped in on this amazing New Year's. It's New Year's. It is New Year's. And we got such an iconic episode in for this amazing Holy Lizard session. Guys, thank you so much. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. And to all my Patreon members, I'm sorry I'm 10 minutes late, but if you are in the Patreon family, if you're listening, it is time. It is time for our after party Zoom call right now. Let's go. If you want to join the Zoom call after party, make sure you go to the very first link, click on the Trap Talk Patreon family, tap in with us, man. It's time to catch up. It's time to talk about some goals, where we at, all that stuff. It's about to go down. Thank you so much. Have a good night. I will say, though, guys, what a big week we have this weekend. The Reptile Super Show in Pomona. I have so many awesome friends flying into town. It's going to be such a fun time. And can you believe, as much as fun as I have going on, that we are going to have somebody on the show Thursday night? And when I say somebody, I don't mean just anybody. I mean the guy that I've been seeking for, and that sounds weird, but the guy I've been trying to get on this show for well over 2 years is finally coming on the show. And will his buddy, Mice Man McClay, come on the show? I don't know. You need to fucking stick around and find out Thursday night. Go to the link. Set your reminder. It's all going down 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Thank you for all the love and support. Patreon members, I'll see you guys soon. And I'm out.